All right, we are officially live and only a minute late. It's a TNF Thursday, which should be a really, really juicy Thursday night game tonight. Lions at Packers. Fun fact, EJ. Over the last 8 years, the Lions have a higher win rate at Lambeau Field than they do in their own stadium. So it's exactly 50-50. If I'm a Lions fan, I like my odds. Also, by the way, I got something special just for this stream. In honor of CJ Gardner Johnson.
the the man of the hour who is promoting winter wear in the Detroit
It's ski
metro
mask
area.
night.
Let's go.
I don't have any Honolulu Blues, so the closest I got was a throwback Seahawks jersey. But we're repping the Lions.
Fair enough. I went neutral because as an NFC North fan, Honolulu Blue makes me itch only slightly less than green and gold.
I genuinely enjoy when the Lions are good. I really do. I feel like the NFL is a better place when historically bad franchises all of a sudden turn it around. And the Lions absolutely have turned it around. Great coaching staff, great roster, talent all over the field. They have their warts, not going to lie. They have their warts, and they're pretty banged up, but they are getting Decker back. They're getting Montgomery back tonight. We're getting Penei Sewell versus Rashawn Gary. I'm just excited. We got a hell of a game here.
Yeah, for all the Thursday night slugs that we have to lumber through, like this one should be good. This is good on good. There are a lot of good football players and a lot of good football being played by both of these teams. The Packers line, you talked about Lions being a little banged up. The Packers line is wildly banged up, but somehow they never seem to have a drop-off, which means to me that they're incredibly well coached. And Jordan Love has faced, I think, third least pressure of any quarterback in the league over the first 3 weeks. The Lions have been bringing a ton of pressure. They don't have a ton of sacks, but their pressure rate is amongst the leaders in the NFL. So again, good rush unit against a very well-schooled offensive line. And, the Lions offense, we've talked about it on the pod all year long. They are hammering along. Ben Johnson and Goff in year two are even closer to each other and have an even greater understanding. Amon-Ra St. Brown, still the primary threat. Absolutely need to get him going. Sort of as he goes, so goes the Lions, maybe even a little bit more than Jared Goff, which sounds sacrilegious to say, but like when Amon-Ra gets running, like this Lions offense just hums. The complementary pieces have been kicking in. On this week's review pod, we talked about a lot of offenses that have one player that's working really well and the other three or four need to kind of come along for the ride. Not so with the Lions. Everybody's kicking in. David Montgomery's doing what they brought him there to do. This is a really fun offense. And the defense, you talked about Rashawn Gary already. The secondary is very, very good. They've been challenging, passing games. So it's like good on good all over the field. This is a good Thursday night game. I'm a little bit giddy. We're supposed to get a good one here, which, if the bootleg curse which is the evolving like lower Coleman curse, has anything to do with it, this thing will go completely off the rails and be a blowout. But on paper, it looks really well matched. It looks like a super fun game.
EJ, I don't know if you actually have the stream on in a separate tab, so I don't think you noticed that we had a little tool where we have super chats appearing on screen and getting read out now finally, and you have the honor of answering the first one because I'm not allowed to. Jared started us off tonight. He asked you to pick two between Ayuk, Dubs, and JSN. Because Ayuk is involved, I have to stay away, so this one's on you.
Oh, yeah. No, I would definitely pick Dubs in that one. JSN, I feel like, is due. I actually went to the Seahawks game, as you know, last week versus the Panthers. They didn't use him very much. They only targeted him a couple of times. And a lot of the Seahawks fans who knew that I was a big JSN supporter were like, do you think they're using JSN enough? I feel like he's getting worked in. They were working the ball to Lockett. They were working the ball to DK. And Shane Waldron's been using tight ends, I think, more creatively than anybody in the NFL right now. That's a rabbit hole for another time. I feel like JSN is on the doorstep of having one of those games where he comes out with 5 or 6 catches, maybe 80 yards and a touchdown, something like that, which would be a very JSN stat line. So I guess I'm going to lean Dubs and JSN.
Kind of feel hesitant. I have Kelsey as well.
This AI voice is so weird.
We
We had a whole bunch of options. I don't know if you can hear it. We had a whole bunch of options, and I chose the classic Brian voice. I'll get used to it. Alex for $5. I'm a prophet. I called the 70-piece combo in last week's Monday Night Football stream, which I actually think I remember that. So I don't know if you were bullshitting or not, but good call either way. Malik for $5. Starting St. Brown and Monty over Laporta. Kind of feel hesitant. I have Kelsey as well. Appreciate the love and content. Starting anybody over Laporta right now, it's kind of a risky venture. He's leading all tight ends in yardage, and he's looked phenomenal and kind of carrying on the tradition of Iowa not knowing how to use their tight ends in college and them ending up being monsters once they go to the pros.
Yeah, the Iowa tight end scout deserves all the raises, like all the raises. He just keeps hitting them. Even the ones that don't go off have, really good draft profiles. Maybe didn't land in the right situation, but there even been some ones that, didn't pop off that still had great athletic profiles and looked like they could fill the bill. So, no, I wouldn't start anybody over Laporta. He's being used more, and a lot of fantasy is about usage, right? Targets, the way the offense leans. Until Jameson Williams gets back, I think Sam Laporta's targets are going to stay pretty high. And if he keeps producing at the current rate, they probably won't drop off very much.
Somebody asked to see the pick slip. I actually haven't filled it out yet, so we're going to do this as a family, okay? Let's see. David Montgomery, I'm assuming we're getting a touchdown here. Hold on. Let me expand this out. Ooh, 2.5 first downs. Yeah, we'll go higher on Montgomery first downs.
The first downs thing is weird. Betting on first downs. I know, but betting on first downs is only slightly more comfortable for me than betting on kickers.
See, Amon-Ra. I feel like we'll go Amon-Ra receptions.
Should I start Musgrave instead of Darren Waller? Shane for $1.99. Thank you, Shane. It depends on your league. If it's for catches, yes. If it's for yards, more of a toss-up. They are throwing the ball a lot to Musgrave, like high volume, not a ton of yards, though. They're all short throws so far. He hasn't really cracked one open. He has the potential, but that's not what he's been doing, unlike Laporta on the other side, who's been getting some chunk yardage. So if you get more points for catches, I would go with Musgrave. If you get more points for yards, it's more of a toss-up.
I also did Brian Branch, 4 solo tackles. Aaron Jones, 47.5 rushing. I think I'll roll with you on Dubs. Let's see. We could do
so far, I'm liking the slip. Other than the first down thing, I'm digging it.
14.5 yards after catch for Dubs doesn't seem terrible.
I know why they're doing it, but it's not awful. Like if he catches one on a crosser, he'll get that.
That's what I'm kind of thinking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because with
he's
how
been
much
catching stuff around the sidelines, which is why they did that. He's been catching stuff and either having short yak down the sidelines or going out directly, toe drag swag style. So I know why they picked yak in that particular category.
I think I'm going to go, I'm going to do the yards after catch one. That one just seems nice. All right, so we got Montgomery higher than 2.5 first downs, Amon-Ra higher than 6.5 receptions, Brian Branch 4 solo tackles, Aaron Jones 47.5 rushing, Romeo Dubs 14.5 after the catch. Let's throw a 10 down on that. Why not? And we're going to insure it because we're not crazy. Okay.
Yep.
We're playing it safe
I like
here.
it.
All right.
I like it.
So there's our total slip. Let me grab the link for you guys so I can throw it into chat. If you're interested in tailing this, of course, link is in the chat. If you're new to Underdog and you either use our promo code bootleg or you click the link, but again, promo code bootleg will double your deposit up to $100. So whatever you put in up to that first 100, they'll double it, give you a whole bunch of extra money to play with. So I typically only do like $5 to $10 slips. I'm not asking you guys to be whales because I'm not a whale. But if you're interested in playing tonight, you still got 20 minutes. Links in the chat.
Yeah, much love to Underdog for supporting all this craziness all season long and into next season as well. So whenever we question their sanity, we really think about year 2 that they signed on for. We're like, they haven't even gotten through year 1 yet. But no, they are making all of this fun and hijinks possible. Wouldn't be able to bring you 3 pieces of content a week without their support. So if you're into it, absolutely drop on Underdog, grab some free money, use our code, jump in and tell us whether we're nuts for putting that slip together. You can always, like Brett said, tail it or just flat out oppose it based on the somewhat developing bootleg curse, which I'm not wild about, by the way.
It always gets easier as the year goes on. We get a larger sample size of like data to look at. That's what I've noticed.
Sometimes.
All right. I missed several super chats here. Let me go back and see which ones we still have to answer. What's going on with the most underrated free agency move of 2023, Dalton Schultz? He's barely involved in the Texans game plan. What gives, guys? So he is involved in the Texans game plan, actually, as a blocker, because their offensive line is extremely banged up. They might have 4 third stringers starting this week, depending if Josh Jones is going or not. So they've run a lot of 6 and 7 man protections, and so Dalton Schultz has been used as a blocker a lot on those because he is a capable blocker. I think once the entire offensive line gets back and they can run more empty protection, he will get more involved as a receiver. But until then, they're using him to keep CJ Stroud alive, and I have to imagine that's going to continue again this week against the Steelers because Steelers pass rush is insane, absolutely insane, and there is no way they're going to try to protect with 5, especially on third down. Like it's just not going to happen. So. Don't start Dalton Schultz this week. He's going to block a lot.
Yeah, save him for later in the season when hopefully their offensive line gets healthy, gets right, and they can release him into the pattern freely. He is sometimes being released into the pattern, but very rarely freely. He is almost always chipping before he leaves, and that just means he's going to be like pretty much at best kind of the check down option. Might squeeze out a TD or 2 on a like chip leak, but yeah, not a great start right now because they have to use him as a default sort of de facto O lineman because they don't have any.
Is Ryan Poles still with the Bears in 2024? EJ thinks yes, I think no. So we're gonna see.
I think it depends on what Kevin Warren wants to do. I mean, Kevin Warren, the new president, if he wants to clean house, this is his shot to do it. If he believes that Poles, with a full chance to pick his coach and QB, is worthy of the choice, he'll keep him. I have a feeling he's going to look at the sum total of the moves and go, I can set the tone here. I can go top to bottom. I can have new GM, new coach, new me, new stadium. Like I can have new everything. And I think he might.
Jared Cole for $2. Love or Lamar? Cleveland D is scary. I would go Love. Like I don't want to start anybody against Cleveland right now. They're allowing like 9 points a game or something stupid like that. Like especially with all the injuries that Baltimore has in the offensive line, like I want no part of anything against Cleveland.
Like, no, they've allowed like 15 first downs all year.
Yeah.
Like over 3 games. That's silly talk, man. Don't go near that with a 10-foot pole.
Should I start Jordan Love tonight over Joe Burrow? Standard PPR. Dude, man.
I don't know. It really depends.
I kind of think, yeah. Like, Burrow doesn't look like Burrow with that calf injury. This is going to sound stupid, but I feel like Love might be safer here.
Burrow's been streaky. He's hit it for a little bit and then fallen off again, and then hit it for a little bit and then fallen off again. Whereas Love has not been high highs necessarily, but he has hit the open throws like he's supposed to. Again, he's faced an incredibly low pressure rate, 3rd lowest in the league, I believe. Again, because that offensive line seemingly has endless resources. If somebody goes down, they just bring somebody else up, and they really don't lose a beat protection-wise. So I still don't think Love is amazing. I think he's good, but we keep saying, that, you said a couple weeks ago on the pod that this is the Pokemon gems, right? We just keep throwing different monsters at him to see if he's actually going to get pressured one week, and he really hasn't yet. So some week, maybe this week with the Lions pass rush, we'll see it. But man, that offensive line's really held up, and he's hit the notes when he's needed to. Again, I don't think he's been a hero. He hasn't needed to be. He hasn't been like great. I think a lot of quarterbacks have played better. A lot of quarterbacks have played worse, to be fair. But Burrow's just been like, for like a quarter, and then falling back off and looked, just disjointed again. He missed so much time at camp.
They're not hitting the vertical balls that they used to.
No.
And it's not just to T, but it's to Jamar too. Like when they were getting Jamar, involved on Monday, it was like just quick stuff from the slot. It was a lot of option routes where it's just read leverage. I don't know. I don't like this Bengals offense right now. It just feels like pulling teeth until Joe gets right.
We have an Obi visit.
Oh, Obi's down there?
Yeah, we always get fatty visits when we're at your house, but Obi's not yet been fed, so he's like, "Hey, man, I don't care about this live stream stuff. I want my kibbles."
Max Robinson for $10. Jameis. Also, am I wrong for firmly believing in the camp that Fields' issues are down to incompetent development / coaching? It feels impossible that the guy that I watched smoke fools at OSU. Yeah, Fields ended up in a very bad situation in terms of the coaches that were at the helm, in terms of the offensive line that was in front of him, in terms of the targets that he was throwing to. He ended up in quite possibly the worst situation. And I have to imagine that if Fields were with the Jets, I'm not saying he would have done great, but I think he would have done better than Zach Wilson, because there was more available with the Jets last year than what the Bears had. If he ended up with the Patriots, Fields absolutely would look better than he does right now, even with, again, the limited targets, but the protection with New England has been better.
I don't know if Fields with a Patricia offense would have looked better.
True.
But,
how about
with
this?
With the Bill O'Brien offense, absolutely.
How about this? Fields in San Francisco, if they took Fields instead of Lance, are we having any of these conversations about Fields? Probably not.
No, we're not. We're talking about them probably winning the Super Bowl last year, and I know that's crazy, but they went as far as they went with Mr. Irrelevant. Fields certainly gives them some other options, and they've used that skill set very well in the past. So I have a lot of confidence that he would certainly look better. There's almost no way that he could look worse. He looks worse right now than he did his first year when they threw him in to a game with no game planning, didn't adjust at all, hadn't given him any reps in camp, didn't want him in there, and got him slayed. The first game he ever played against Cleveland, I think he took 9 sacks. Like, he looked better in the end of that year than he does right now in the beginning of his third year, which is just so wrong on so many levels.
It's sad. It really is, because so much about quarterback success is determined by where you go. And I've seen so many careers, promising careers, ruined by destination. I think that Fields might end up being one of them. And I hope that he ends up having like a Geno Smith type arc, because Geno again went to the Jets where there was nothing around him, bad coaching, and he got failed for a long time until he got to an organization like the Seahawks with good weapons and good coaching, and then we see what Geno is supposed to be. I hope that happens for Fields. Honestly, for Fields' sake, I hope that everything gets blown up this year, and then they send him off to McVay to be Stafford's heir apparent. It's better for Fields, honestly.
Almost anything is better for Fields at this point. It is going to be. I really don't think at this point that he is going to have success in Chicago, and that pains my heart. And it's not because of him, like we're talking about. It's largely because of the situation. But I don't think at this point, with what he's been through, it can be reset. It certainly doesn't look like it can. He as a player can have a second arc, and I hope he does. I hope he goes to a great spot, whether it's, McVay, or whether he ends up with Shanahan or a Shanahan disciple, or even backing up Geno, in Seattle as a, hey, when that shorter contract that Geno signed runs out, do they re-up with Geno, or do they, roll with Fields at that point? Like, all those would be better situations. And he is such a talented player. Seems like a really decent guy. he can have success in this league, and it pains me as an evaluator to see that much talent wasted really anywhere, but certainly obviously a little bit more because it's the Bears. So yeah.
Alex for $5. Kinda yes, kinda no. My contempt for the Broncos is real, as is my confidence that they score at least 56. Yeah, well, I think you overshot that a little.
Well, well, it's like 56 with the starters.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, you got Robbie Chosen or Chosen Anderson. I can't remember what he goes by now. Getting touchdowns against Pat Surtain from Mike White throwing the ball. Like, it's just, it was bad.
yeah, I wondered at that point when I saw that on the replay if McDaniel was just like, I didn't mean it. Like,
should have
I put Mike
interviewed
White
me.
out there.
Should have interviewed me.
White out there.
This wouldn't have happened.
What do you want? It was Mike White. It's not like I'm trying to run it up. I actually like Mike White, but yeah, at that point when you saw Pat Surtain getting smoked, you were like, "Oh, this is going to be historically bad."
Yeah. Curtis Rogers, $5. 2 questions for 2-player outlooks. What happens with Jonathan Taylor this year and T. Higgins next year? Likely landing spots. Well,
Ooh,
if the
a good
Bengals were going to
question.
trade T, their best opportunity was months ago. Because I don't think they're going to get a first-round pick for him at this point because of contract situation. But T has been off this year so far. He was at his peak value in March, right? And there were bids, by the way, for high-value picks for T. Higgins. And they said no. And so I think eventually he's just going to hit the market. They're going to take their 3rd-round comp pick, which is less than they would have got if they just traded him. They got to pay Jamar. They got defensive players they got to pay. Like, it's just they were going all in on we're winning a Super Bowl this year, which still, again, I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's looking shaky, but they were going all in on, fuck them trades. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. And I personally would have done a different course of action. As for Jonathan Taylor, it sounds like he still doesn't want to play for the Colts. And when week 4 is over and he's coming off the pup, well, theoretically coming off the pup, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either. If he is insistent in that stance, that's going to be the thing. Like, that's going to be it. If he says, "Nah, I ain't. I just ain't. I'm not suiting up again for you," then that'll force the organization's hand at some point. Yes, they have control, and yes, he can sit. And no, you don't really want to do that as a running back because your career's really short anyways. But if he's that set, truly intransigent, doesn't care about the lost year, accrued service, doesn't care about the lost money, just says, "No way, no more horseshoe on my helmet ever," then he'll be moving on. And, when is a good question. It really comes down to how spiteful Jim Irsay's feeling at that point, I think. But at some point, Ballard will convince him, like, "Hey, it's not happening. He's not coming back. We got to get something for him. We got to move him along and free up that spot." That's a complete dice roll at that point. Like, who could use Jonathan Taylor? Basically everybody.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the best running backs in the league. So pretty much everybody could use a Jonathan Taylor. Who's willing to pay for him? He's going to have to get a new contract. That's always a thing. Running back market obviously has been devalued. When Indy lets him go in terms of when other teams have money, there's let's be honest, there's friendly times for Indianapolis to let him go and non-friendly times. Non-friendly times are when everybody's money's all spent, because then people are going to have to do some crazy cap maneuvering to get him on hand. You get him in, after June 1st, when everything's rolled over and stuff goes off the books, more teams are going to have money and more teams are going to be able to. So we like Jonathan Taylor and we want him to succeed release timelines, and there's screw you, Jonathan Taylor, you're not getting anything because you spited us.
People were asking in chat, should we start Christian Watson? Personally, I'm not. I think A, there's going to be a snap count, and B, I want to see how he looks. Soft tissue injuries can be kind of finicky. So if you don't have to start him, don't start him.
Yeah, I would agree.
If he goes off, he goes off. But I don't know.
Yeah, but Christian Watson always streaky. If he gets a lot of his production usually out of about 2 catches that are 50 or 60 yarders. There are times when he grinds out yards, but that's really not his game. He's probably not going to have all of that explosion. He's probably going to be a little bit rusty, and they have already said that they're going to ease him into it. So that does not mean like, hey, 9 on the first play, like go get it, go sprint. They're going to work him into this and see how they're going to feel it out, because again, the last thing they want to do is re-injure him, have to put him on short-term IR again, have him end up basically losing half the season at that point. So this is much more of a tentative thing. That's not somebody that I would be like you said, if you don't have to, that's not a guy I'm pushing up the list.
Sonny for $10 Canadian. Love y'all boys and the content, even though it's Green Bay all day. I'm going to my first ever football game this Sunday for Bills Dolphins. Oh man.
Oh wow, that's your first NFL game is Bills Dolphins.
Dude, you picked a good one. Jesus.
Yeah. Whew.
That's
impressive. Yeah.
That might be the best game of the year.
Yeah. We hype that one. You'll see it when the pod comes out tomorrow. It is our lead game in our 5 games of the week that we're previewing. Can't miss that one. Has playoff implications, has, basically Pro Bowlers and All Pros all over the field on both sides. You're going to get to see some of the most dynamic players in the game on both sides. That's a hell of a first game to go to. That's going to be awesome.
I don't even want to know what tickets cost.
Depends on when you buy them too. Oh,
it's in Buffalo, right?
Yes, I believe so. Let me look at the.
I have to imagine that the Bills made a formal request of the league of like, don't you dare make us play down there in September again.
Yeah.
Died
yes,
last
it is.
year.
It is indeed. It is Dolphins Bills, and I, you know me, I'm a stickler for putting the home team second because that's how it is on all the broadcasts.
But yeah, it was brutal last year in September in Miami, and then of course Miami came up in December to Buffalo and froze their ass off. So, I'm sure both teams were like, hey,
switch it up.
Can we do something different this year, please?
Speaking of, I just checked the weather. I was doing everything else for the Texas trip today. I was doing rental car and all the other logistic stuff. And I was like, I haven't looked at the weather. It's not yet October. I bet it's still going to be hot in Texas. Yeah. Saturday is going to be 95 at DKR, and it's a 2:30 kickoff.
Oh, that's right. You're going to the Texas game.
Yeah. I'm going to Kansas, Texas on Saturday, and it's going to be 95 degrees.
And I can attest, day games at DKR in the month of September are just absolutely brutal. And I think it's a noon game too, isn't it?
2:30.
That's still, local. Dude. It's
going to be heat of the day, like prime heat of the day. It's going to be quote unquote cooling off by the end of the game, but that means it'll probably drop like 3 degrees. It'll be like 92 when we get out. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to be rough. We're going to have to do some hardcore hydration. But I also found out I am going to get to see live music in Austin for the first time in like 15 years, which is really cool. Yeah, it's a great scene, and I've enjoyed it before, but I haven't been able to see music the last several times I've been down there. And my buddy Frank, who we went to the Bills game with last year, let me know that he just sent me a little clip, and I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "We're seeing them after dinner on like Friday night." And I was like, "Oh,
dope.
Great, cool."
By the way, for those who don't know, EJ is going to meet me in Dallas. I'm going to Portland tomorrow. He's going to Austin tomorrow. And then I'm kind of going by way of Atlanta from Portland through Atlanta to Dallas on Sunday. There's a dog appearance. Let's go.
Little Hudson.
We're going to the Cowboys game on Sunday. Cowboys are graciously providing us with some field passes, so we'll be on the field before the game, checking out Patriots Cowboys. And then I'm flying. Well, he's flying out Sunday night back to Seattle. I'm flying out crack ass at dawn on Monday, so we can come back and record our recap show for Week 4. Get that out probably on Tuesday morning, I would bet. So it'll be a packed weekend for both of us, but it's all right. That's how we get our miles.
No, that's how you get your miles.
From
Portland to Atlanta to Dallas. That's how you get your miles.
Well, because DFW, other than Newark, is like the worst airport in the country because nothing goes there. Like, how is it the most trafficked airport in the central time zone, but there's no direct flights? from like
I-
other
I-
hubs. It makes no sense.
I don't know. I got a direct flight home on Sunday night.
Fucking, it's I hate
He's
DFW.
like,
so
he's
much.
I
I hate DFW. It's the worst.
All right, we got to kick off.
Game just started.
Yeah.
Lions got the ball. Ooh, start 2 flex. Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Ramondre, Mostert, Pierce, or Ford.
Ooh, I think Ford's gonna have a decent day actually.
I go Ford and Mostert.
Yeah, I
me.
wouldn't go near Kamara coming back again. Saying all the reasons that we talked about with Christian Watson. Oh no. Okay.
I'm on the Prime Vision feed, by the way. I don't know if you are.
I am not. I am on the regular TV feed. I have a different. We're trying to get over this whole Prime lag thing. So I have the least lagged option I could possibly get: Ethernet plugged in, HDMI computer monitor, no TV, no Wi-Fi, nothing. So hopefully, you'll have to tell me when you're seeing like the second snap.
Well, right now, we got
They
a
just
wide angle
snapped.
shot.
Yeah, just snap the second snap for me. My clock's at 14:22.
I'm
So
like 6 seconds behind you. It's not bad.
okay,
Ooh.
that's reasonable. Last week it was like 25. It was
Yeah.
really bad.
All right, so
But-
Lions are going to be in third and a billion.
Yeah, they've been testing. They tested the left side on the run. Packers said nah. They tested the left side of the screen. Packers said nah. So now we got 3rd and 11. And again, this Green Bay defense really good, especially up front, but also in the secondary. Linebackers haven't played quite as well this year. They played out of their minds last year. It's not going to be easy sledding. We know that Ben Johnson will find some cracks, but they're not going to make it easy for him. Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah. So
Jared, we need to have a talk. I got to go back and look at the replay again because I don't think that was a hook dropper. It looked like it was just a hand corner who was just reading it and broke on it.
he's inside. He's slot. He takes any inside breaker, and he didn't see him coming across. Goff was reading right to left.
Yeah.
Yeah, zone
So-
corner sitting low.
They
Didn't
just let Gibbs go to the flat and he just hung out there.
Yep.
Like if Jared just turned his head like 5 degrees left and saw Jahmyr Gibbs in the flat, he was all alone.
Yep.
So
Sat in the middle of the field, clogged a lane. That's a
sometimes shit
really
just
good
works
start.
out.
Oh,
man.
there's pressure right there. First snap. Hutchinson gets pressure on Love. Basically nothing. So when people say, oh, blank doesn't have a lot of sacks, and we say, hey, sacks are fickle, sacks aren't always a thing. A lot of times you can go back. Brandon Thorne, buddy of ours, does a high quality sack thing, which I love. How many sacks are like earned? How many were flushed into you? He's got all that. That was just pressure, not a sack. That was Aiden Hutchinson 1-on-1 with the backup left tackle, basically pushed him into Jordan Love, forced him to roll out. They end up, trying to hit a check down and get nothing. So they're 2nd and 10. Pressure caused basically the waste of a down. So pressure is extremely valuable.
All right. So we're in empty.
On pressure sack. Wow. All right. Aiden
Aiden's on one, man. That's just power. Just straight power. 2 reps in a row, just walking dude's back.
Yeah. Well,
Watch him get under.
Yep.
Get under the armpit.
and then he just reaches out and says, mine. Hutchinson's been on one all year. This isn't new. But in terms of 2 plays and basically flushed him once and put him on the ground the second time, that may be a sign of things to come. Like LaFleur's going to have to adjust. And he does.
And we're
Super
going
quick pass.
empty again.
Get it out of his hands. I'm pretty sure the instruction in the helmet there was, I want to see this ball out of your hands in 1.5 seconds.
That might have been less, actually.
Yeah. Like that's your hard stop. That's your limit. I do not want to see that ball in your hands at 1.6. So get it out. Don't care. Live to fight another day. Come on, I'll give you another scripted series. We'll figure it out. We won't. Guess we won't be leaving Aiden 1-on-1 most of the night.
Well,
It's
at this point,
1.5 or
it's free points because they got a turnover and we're basically already in the red
Yep.
zone. So
Yep.
let's see.
Bears
Super
picked
chat
Flues,
here. Crabs for
and
$10.
Caleb
Bears
Williams
should
picked Leon
Bears should
Harbaugh
fire
as
Flues and use
AC.
Caleb Williams' pick to lure
Harbaugh's
Harbaugh
McDaniel.
as a head
Oh, no.
coach. Harbaugh isn't
And he's
McDaniel,
also
but who
not
is?
Trestman,
And he's
Fox,
also not
or
Tressman,
Flues.
Fox, or Flues. That's not as crazy as you think.
I know. We had this conversation the last time around when Flus got hired, and there were so many Harbaugh stands. And at that point, he was really just starting to ride the crest of the wave of what he's built at Michigan. And I really feel like he thinks he's going to be able to compete for a national title. So he wasn't as hot to leave as he might be if they do win a title. Let's put it that way. But so
Well,
many people in Chicago,
even if he
were-
doesn't, what
Yeah.
what I have heard is that because of that pay cut situation,
yeah,
he still harbors some feels, about that.
some feels, some
And-
resentment.
And if the right job became available in the
Yeah.
NFL, he would not say no.
And he's a former Bear. The Bears would love him as an organization. I, as you can tell, am not a Harbaugh in the NFL stand-in. Yes, he's had success there in the past, and I get it. He would not be my first choice. Let's just put it that way. I don't think he's a bad human. I don't think he was a bad Bear. I certainly don't think he's a bad college coach. I think he's a great college coach right now. He would not be as high on my list as he is for a lot of other Bears fans. And I found that out in the last cycle when I was like, no, and people were like, boo.
I don't know. If like say the Staley job becomes available, I think he would do it. I think
That would be really interesting, actually, because I would love.
Well, he
to
likes
see-
California. Like he
I would love to
genuinely
see
loves
his-
California. So
I would love to see his changes on that team too. Like, I would be very interested what effect he would bring on both sides of the ball on that team, and I think they would be better. Like the Chargers, and we've said this repeatedly, don't feel like a team that is maximizing the talent. It's a very talented team. Feels a little bit kind of like Cleveland did, a couple
Yeah,
years ago.
I can see that.
Very, very talented team, but not getting the result. We love their roster, but not a thing. So there you go.
Jeff Thistle for $5. Thank you, Jeffrey. I feel like my Hawks are going to wild card and be one and done for the 10th time. We need new coaching ideas. What do you make of the Hawks this year? Honestly, I don't know what to make of the Hawks this year. They're too banged up for me to have like a true opinion. They've been dealing with tackle injuries. They've had some injuries on defense. Like they've gotten by. Like Geno's played well. Well, after the first week, he played well. But I don't know. Until they get the tackles back, I really don't know how far they can go. I really don't. So give me like two or three more weeks, and then we'll see. But I still do think the potential is there with the roster for them to not be a one and done. I think they can at least get to the divisional round, and then all bets are off, right? Because then you're playing against Philly, you're playing against San Francisco. We'll see, but I'm not counting
really
them out just
like-
yet.
Yeah, I really like what their coaches have done. You're talking about new coaching ideas in the super chat. Thanks for that, by the way. I really like what Shane Waldron's doing with the offense right now. The offense looked amazing against the Panthers, and I realize a lot of people are going to say, well, it's the Panthers. Panthers have a lot of good defenders. And Shane Waldron's, again, creativity with the tight ends is really fun right now. He's using K-Walk. Geno's coming back around. Yes, he hasn't used JSN yet, but again, it's spreading around to the tight ends, using both the big wide receivers. And Clint Hurt dialed up a boatload of really fun pressures in that game. I was giddy in my seat watching what Clint was doing with all the pass rushers. And they had 9 sacks, I think, on the day. Like they were coming, and it was not just our guys are better than your guys. Yes, the offensive line for Carolina is struggling, obviously, but Hawks have invested pretty heavily in pass rushers, and it showed against the Panthers. They had them rattled, and then the crowd got just rabid, and the false starts started, and it was over. They just collapsed from there.
Jahmyr Gibbs with a really good, tough run there to pick up bunch on like 2nd and 10. All right, Monty, give me that first down. All right. We need 2 more. 2 more first downs and we're good on the slip.
What happened to Jahan Dotson?
That's the thing about first downs is it talk about something fickle. Like that's super fickle, but
It's David
he almost
Montgomery,
lost
man.
it.
Short
I know.
yardage. We're good.
He almost lost it, man. He ended up holding on to it.
Nah, we're good. We're good. Trust in David.
Oh, I love Montgomery as a player. You know that. And I really like the fit on this offense. And he is we get a lot of things wrong. Let's put that out there. But when we get one right, we said that this was how they were going to use David Montgomery. And everybody's like, oh, they're going to do this with Gibbs. And Gibbs is going to get all the touches. And we're like, nah, like David Montgomery's going to be their hammer. And they're going to swing that hammer a lot. And they'll find, just like this little flare out to Gibbs, they'll find those opportunities. But Montgomery's going to be front and center for this offense, and he has been. So always nice when we get one right.
All right.
Yeah.
Motion to 2x2. We're all tightened up. All right.
Yeah,
This is going to be a
not,
run the ball type game. I don't know if they trust themselves to pass protect against this Green Bay pass rush because
Yeah,
They really
well,
don't
they're
want
not
to.
going to get a lot. They're not going to get a lot running the ball through the middle either. Montgomery's very familiar with this defense. He's played it against his entire career. He understands that it is going to be tough sledding. You're gonna hammer and hammer and hammer and hope you break one late. The first 2, maybe even 3 quarters are going to be runs that look a lot like that, and that's frustrating. Frustrating for fans. Oh, there we go. Man of the hour. We talked about him at the top of the game.
I knew I should have done that yards after catch. He would have got it in 1 catch. Fuck.
Yeah,
I knew I
know.
should have done it. He was like 18 and a half.
Look at the tight window throw here.
Yeah, it's a great ball.
Yeah, and do you see what Ben Johnson did with motion before the snap?
Yep. Snapped it
motion
right
from
when
left
they're
to
even
right.
with each other. God, that's a
Yeah.
good ball.
Yeah, it's a really good ball. This is tight coverage. There's nothing wrong with that coverage. The guy is on his hip pocket. He is not even really NFL open. And Goff threaded that in there, and Laporta paid it off plus yak. So, oh, let's go.
So I
I
couldn't
would-
tell if DB fell down or if Amon-Ra just absolutely shattered that man's ankles. Could have gone either way
Yeah.
there. But either way,
Yeah.
good touchdown.
This is not the Lambeau fans giving him the business for doing the leap. I understand and respect that, but let's watch the replay. We said that if St. Brown got going early, that it was a good sign for Detroit. Oh, Rasul Douglas just got roasted.
Yep. That wasn't I slipped. That was a
No,
that
he
man that man
did.
made me do it.
Yeah, that man, he made me do it. All right, hang on. Hang on. All right, out you go. I'll be right back. I have to
Obi
corral
wants
the
food.
hound. Hey.
Henry, I apologize. I misread your earlier super chat. So he needs 4 out of Josh Jacobs, Kamara, Stevenson, Mostert, Pierce, and Ford. I would say Stevenson because the Cowboys' run defense has not been super great against power and pin and pull schemes that we know the Patriots like to run. Fun fact, the Cowboys' defense, 50% of all the yards they have allowed so far this year are rushing, which is the highest percentage of total yards allowed that were rushing in the league by far. It's like 15% over second place. So, A, their pass defense is very good. B, their run defense is not very good so far. So I'll do Ramondre, Mostert, like I said, Ford, like I said. Not sure about Pierce, just because I don't know. I don't know if the Texans are going to get much done against the Steelers. I love Stroud, but again, we're talking about 80% backup offensive line. Kamara, I could see. Yeah, so Kamara, Stevenson, Mostert, Ford. That's my final 4 there. All right. Well, Lions on the board early. You know, Amon-Ra doing Amon-Ra things. We love to see it. Modern day grad. No bias there whatsoever. I will say on the topic of Sam Laporta, I was not a massive Laporta guy relative to, say, Musgrave or Kincaid or some of the other tight ends in this class. I saw athletic potential. I saw yak ability, which he's displayed. What I didn't see at Iowa was how good of a route runner he is, how good of a dominant contested catcher he is. Like, those were two things that, and again, it's Iowa, so they didn't give him as much of a chance to show those traits. But I'm genuinely surprised in a pleasant way how quickly he has turned into this. Like, he's the most productive receiving tight end in the NFL right now as a rookie. So, A, credit to him, B, credit to his coaches, and C, credit to the scouts that saw that. Because for me, when I watched his tape at Iowa, I saw somebody who, maybe was a couple years away. They saw somebody who was a year one contributor. So credit to them for being right on that. And I really hope that he keeps on this trajectory, because he's on pace for one of the most productive, not just rookie tight end seasons, but tight end seasons, period, so far.
Yeah, he's what NFL teams want from young, especially rookie tight ends, which is immediate contributors in the pass game. Like, guys that can come in, get chunk yardage, and really, be a cog, be somebody that can have 2 to 4 catches for anywhere between 20 to 60 yards a game, throw a touchdown in every 3 or 4 games. And, it's the reason that Green Bay drafted Musgrave. They want the same thing out of him. They haven't quite got it yet. They've featured him a lot in terms of catches, but Laporta is showing explosion from the tight end position, and that is a coveted thing for NFL teams in the sort of modern pass game.
All right. 1st and 10 for the Packers, 12 personnel.
Sacked. Uh-oh.
We've been waiting to see the first Jordan Love game where he was under serious pressure. We had not seen that up until now.
Thoughts on Eagles versus
So
Dolphins?
we got to see how he responds. This is the first time that we're getting to see Jordan Love not be comfortable in a really good pocket consistently. Even against Atlanta, they held up decently well for the most part. Like, again, it was the most pressure he had seen up to that point, but it was nothing like this. Like, this is the first time where a defensive line is teeing off on him, so we get to see how he responds. 2nd and 16.
Jacobs, the really nice play on defense. Okay, this is
danger zone here.
Yeah, exactly. I really think this is a dangerous place for Green Bay to be. I don't think it's the end of the night or anything else, but they have to get a handle on this. They're at home. They are not seeing success dropping back. They are not seeing success when they get guys out into the pattern. They have not really leaned on the run game yet, so we don't know if we're going to see any success there. But they are throwing and throwing and throwing, and they're either getting heavy pressure in the pocket or seeing DBs playing pretty tight. They tried to cue one up.
Not a whole lot of things in the playbook for 3rd and 16.
No, they were looking for a shot.
But you even saw, the Lions were in a shell pre-snap. Like, they weren't bringing a blitz. They were just backing off and saying, go ahead,
and
try.
This is holding. This is late in the play, holding against Green Bay as they, again, sort of scrambled around looking for anything. And they got an offensive lineman limping. 76 is limping for them.
That's Runyon, I think.
So it's not time to panic, but it is time to be aptly concerned that, division rivals in your house, and so far through the script where they've been typically very good, you've got a whole lot of nothing. You got a free 3 points off Goff's interception. But that's all you've gotten so far. Other than that, it has not looked like
another flag.
Yeah. It's procedure, I think.
They have too many?
False start.
Fucking A, dude. What a disastrous first quarter.
Well, it's starting to snowball a little bit, which is why I say they have to get something going here. They've got to hit something. They've got to get a first down at this point. I'm sure that LaFleur's over there going, all right, settle down. We've done this before. We need a basic gain. We need to get 10 yards, move the sticks, sort of settle in, because right now they are anything but settled. They're shaking right now. 76, you're correct, is Runyon. If he's it just looked kind of like a twisted ankle, which easy for me to say, oh, just a twisted ankle. But yeah, if he misses any time, they're in near disastrous straits for the offensive line. It is not pretty. It wasn't pretty at the start of the game in terms of who they were playing with backups. If you lose another one, like, yikes.
Thoughts on trading Amari for Breece Hall? I don't know if I want any piece of that Jets offense right now. Is there literally any other running back you can get? Like any of them? I'm not sure about that. Tamales for $10. Thoughts on the Eagles versus Dolphins in a few weeks? Thoughts on Eagles versus Dolphins in a few weeks. Interesting how Miami is having success on pre-snap motion while Sirianni rarely uses it but still has success. I have been curious on these two clashing. So I would say the motion thing really comes down to what is your quarterback comfortable with? Because there's a lot of quarterbacks that want the picture to be static because they don't want to have safeties and DBs running all over the place and changing the picture on them. Aaron Rodgers famously was not super fond of motion because he didn't like it when the safeties were moving from where they were. And if they were moving, he wanted it to be a deliberate action because of a call they were in, not as a reaction to what the Packers were doing. And he wanted the picture to stay the same so that when a rotation happened at the snap, it was easier for him to read it out. And it's possible that Jalen's the same way. It's possible that Jalen wants a static picture, and he's like, don't move all these people around because I got to see what they're in, especially with all the stuff they do when they spread people out, right? So I would say it's a big factor is just whatever the quarterback wants, and it's possible that Tua likes motion. It's possible that he's totally cool with it.
I bet he does at this point. Like, if he doesn't, I'd be really surprised because it's working for him.
Back to your question, Storm, for the Breece Hall thing. The reason why I'm not super into any Jets player right now, but especially running backs, is a key value for running back is touchdowns. And touchdowns are heavily correlated to red zone appearances. And if your passing game is so shitty that you're not getting red zone appearances, that's ultimately going to cost you in touchdown opportunities, and lack of touchdown opportunities then leads to lack of points. So I just kind of don't want anything in that Jets offense right now.
I would not disagree. That is a rough place to be putting your fantasy eggs right now. They're probably going to get broken for a bit until they stabilize the picture of what they're doing. I mean, they brought in Trevor Siemian, but that to me is not stabilization of the quarterback position. So we'll see if they're done or if they make another move. But Goff missed that first down ball pretty high and wide outside. Going to get back to the run game. Oh, they got a crack. Nice. Got some production out of that run.
They do love getting Jahmyr Gibbs outside the tackles and trying to just spring him to the sideline. They tend to have a lot of success with that. It's all like the duo stuff or like trying to run power inside that they typically don't get any mileage with him on that, but counter or toss or anything, that's the Jahmyr Gibbs type of run.
Oh, hang on. JT. Did we miss this? JT the Destroyer for $10. Just hit a profit-boosted Jared Goff interceptions over in 3 plays. So share in my revelries. Cheers, man.
And you know what? You probably get good odds on that because Goff just doesn't really throw picks. So.
Well, the weird thing is he hadn't thrown any in a lot of games, and now he's thrown one in the last 3.
Yeah.
After not throwing any for like an entire season. So, I mean, felt like an entire season. It's probably not that long, but yeah. Well, congrats, JT. We love the prescience. We love the luck. That's awesome. Uh-oh. Lions are starting to get it going on the ground, even on the inside. Again, outside, I expect them to. Their tackles are really athletic. Well, especially the right tackle's really athletic. It's, it is a very good Green Bay front, but if you can pin them in and basically win the edge, not get the edge set, you're going to have success. But this is in between. This is with, Jackson pulling, really nice block to the second level. And then, again, Gibbs running really hard, fighting through.
What a block from Laporta, too.
Well,
kicking out the edge there and just not getting crushed so the guard had space to pull around. That's a great block from Laporta.
That's the thing about Iowa tight ends, right? That's pretty much what you count on is they can all block. They're pretty athletic and they can all block, because if they can't block, not going to be on the field at Iowa. And then the ones you're looking for are the ones like Kittle and Laporta that can catch, that can run routes and can catch, just didn't get a chance to at Iowa. So not surprising that he is a competent blocker. It's certainly a really nice thing that this offense will count on, and Ben Johnson is leveraging it well early, but not super surprising that an Iowa tight end can block.
All right, we're up to 2 first downs for Dave Montgomery, so we're most of the way there on that.
Oh, wow.
And there goes Jared Goff with the wheels. All right, prime opportunity for our weekly David Montgomery rushing touchdown that everybody was trying to gaslight me into thinking wasn't going to happen this summer. It's happening, folks, okay?
Oh, goodness. The speed differential between Goff and the defender there from the end zone angle is eye-opening.
It was like Rich Eisen getting run down in the 40 when they do the simulcam.
Oh, man. Oh, nope. Quay Walker says no, sir.
Quay's had a better year this year, which is nice to see.
He has been absolutely less variable, less high-low. He had some good plays last year, but he also had some, oh, man, what are you doing plays? Look at him just sit in the hole and say, nope, I played at Georgia. I can do that.
All right. Let's see what Kenny Clark has for us here. Because usually down the goal line, it's the Kenny Clark show.
Tough sledding, but I want to see. Oh, there it is.
Ooh. Easy walk-in touchdown on escort motion there. I think they were in 12 personnel, and they brought the second tight end. Again, motion at the snap. Also, I'm pretty sure touchdowns count as first downs, so I think we're cashing that one already, Chad. So 1 down, 4 to go, I believe.
Look at oh, yeah. Great job by Decker to get the hook, realize he doesn't have any resistance, and then just go to the second level. Watch this. Nope. He's inside. I'll give him to Jackson, and then I'll just get in the way of Walker, who's the guy that made the play on literally the previous play. And Montgomery walks in because of it. Easy touchdown. I don't know, greedily hoping for something more creative out of Ben Johnson, but good on him for going simple and getting the points. That's why he's an NFL offensive coordinator, and I'm sitting here.
Underdog didn't even give us the Monty touchdown prop this week, so clearly they were losing money on those.
they were in on the fix.
Yeah. Storm says I'm 3-0, so I can wait for them to figure it out. Yeah, there you go. You're fine then. You're fine.
Did we get Andrew Hernandez's need AOC to start over Jimmy G? Has elite arm talent. With those weapons, he could definitely win.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir, man. I want AOC to start so bad, and if he plays like I think he will, I don't know if he'll give the job back, honestly. And we know that Aiden is Josh's guy. Like, McDaniels loves Aiden O'Connell. So they're being kind of coy with it of who's starting this week. If they start Hoyer, I just give up at this point. Like, I'm ready for a new regime. But I think there's a decent shot we get AOC starting because, A, they have to see what they have. And B, Josh knows what Hoyer is. And C, Josh loves Aiden O'Connell. And I love Aiden O'Connell. They could win with Aiden O'Connell. Like, legitimately could win with Aiden O'Connell. So we'll see.
Yeah, let's be Let's be honest about that. One of the great things about fall, I think you probably like fall, but
Love fall. Favorite season, of course.
Oktoberfest lagers are starting to drop. I swung by the store. I didn't have any beer. Silver City, who I've had on, local brewery over in Paulsbo. Love their stuff. Yeah, Oktoberfest lager was there. I was like, done, sold. Let's go.
I'm going out to an Oktoberfest in Venice Beach. Not this weekend, but because I'm in Dallas, but the weekend after that. There's a place called Wurstkirch, and it's like, it's a German place with German beer and Belgian beer and German food and lederhosens and it's Oktoberfest. So I'm excited for that. I haven't been to an Oktoberfest in a while.
Yeah, always a good time. Always a good time. If you all in chat are getting good fall beers at this point, let us know. Always love local beer reports. And one of the reasons I'm very excited to be going to both Austin and Dallas, more so Austin, but Dallas has an underrated brewing scene as well. Hop and Sting is there. They make Duke Manyweather's beer. I actually stopped there right before I met you on the way. I had a layover in Dallas, and my buddy Robert and I went out to Hop and Sting and got a beer, and then I hopped on my flight to Mobile. So I'm familiar with their stuff. They're great, and Austin is full of good beer. Like, I love the beer aisle in HBC in Austin. It's just so full.
PBWZR, Pibaweiser, not sure how you pronounce that, for $5 says they've started off super slow. This is nothing new. They were down 17-0 last game. Very true. They have climbed out of bigger holes, but that being said, I would say the Lions are a tougher opponent. So if they're going to start climbing, they better do it now. This is a pivotal drive, because if Detroit gets the ball back, I have seen nothing to suggest that they won't score again. So now or never for Jordan Love.
And if we see more pressure here, more disrupted passes, more stuffed runs, basically limiting everything you want to do on offense from Green Bay, knowing that you don't have the horsepower on the offensive line right now, they basically just casted Runyon's ankle. They showed a shot of it on the side. They basically made a tape cast. It's like you said, it's not going to get any easier. And if Detroit comes back and scores any points, like, I don't care if it's a field goal, you are making yourself a very tough hole in what is still the first quarter. Like, we still have 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and we've seen, we haven't seen, I would say, one explosive play from Green Bay yet. Offense, really, or defense. So
AJ Dillon turned nothing into something there. I will say, a little bit discouraged by the running back usage so far. I thought we were going to get more Aaron Jones. So that sucks.
They said they were going to work him in too, like they were Watson, but it sounded like Watson was the one they were going to be more careful with, and Jones was going to be the one that they were a little bit more settled with, who they were going to let off the chain a little bit earlier. Hasn't worked out that way so far.
All right, 2x2. AJ Dillon still in the game on 3rd and 3. Do we get a 3rd and 3 run?
No,
we don't.
We almost got. That was a turnover-worthy play. Like, they didn't turn it into a turnover, but that ball was high and could have been picked off pretty easily.
He had him too. He was settling over the middle. There was a lot of space. He had Dubs there.
Yeah, no, it was a makeable throw. He missed it. Like, he missed it high. And it happens. We saw Jared Goff miss a ball high. It's not, again, I don't think Jordan Love is bad. Like, I think he is a middle-of-the-road player, and we don't really know how good he can be because he hasn't faced pressure. He doesn't even really know. It's, you can think all day long, oh, if I get 0, I'm going to do this. Oh, if I get a guy, if I get a free rusher, I'm going to do this. Like, thinking it and doing it are two different things, especially in the NFL. And he hasn't really had the chance to sort of stretch those, blitz handling legs because nobody's gotten to him over the first 3 weeks. The Lions are very clearly getting to him, and we'll see how he adjusts. This isn't kind of nail in the coffin stuff. This is, we don't even know yet. So we at least get to see how he handles real pressure.
any chance the Broncos do any kind of fire sale? What about if they lose to the Bears? Would love to give Surtain a forever home in SF. So, EJ, I had a theory about this.
Okay. I'm here for your theory.
Say the Broncos are just fucking bad. And they
What do you mean say?
I mean, like continue to be fucking
Okay.
bad. Like if they just keep getting waxed, if they lose to Chicago, they're in deep with the Russ contract. They're gonna have to spend even more on some other guys coming up. So at this point, it's like, how do we get future picks so that we can get more cheap assets? Ooh. Going for it? Oh my God, what a catch.
Let's go.
Just reached out and got it. Josh Reynolds.
I think Josh Reynolds heard me when I said he was running like he had a piano on his back and he took it personal. It's the old MJ, and I took that personally because he has played lights out since I made that comment. And I was actually talking with another NFL analyst who was like, he had said Detroit really needs speed at wide receiver, and that's why I sent him that DM. And he was like, right? Like, they clearly are waiting for Jameson Williams to come back. Uh-oh.
Goff throwing blocks. But it worked. Look at Khalif Raymond go.
Yeah, Khalif Raymond is the speedster in Jameson Williams' absence. And
Goff got buried.
Look at him. Gash the Packers here.
Oh,
There's
man.
one defender over there, and the wide receiver gets the block. I think it was Reynolds. There's literally one defender in that third of the field to get all those yards. They are lucky he didn't score.
Very lucky. Penne out in space. If your lead blockers are Penei Sewell and Jared Goff, we feel good
they're
about it.
making this, and they're making this look easy. Like, that's probably the most shocking thing to me here at the end of the first quarter is it doesn't really look like the Lions are sweating yet. I mean,
No.
And they've already thrown a pick. They've already had a turnover. They had a drive that ended in a turnover, and they're still up, 14-3 and driving, most likely going to be up another score, whether it's field goal or touchdown, pretty quickly here. They're already in range for that. And they've already had a turnover. Well, not a turnover-worthy play, an actual turnover. They are not skipping a beat.
They're still in the script, but here, let me finish my theory because I don't want to forget about this.
Yes. No.
All right. So Broncos still bad. They need as many high-value picks for the future as they can get because they need to get cheap players on the roster with this Russ contract. And who knows what they're going to do with Russ. There's some very monstrous dead cap hits if they want to move on from this thing early. But still, dead cap hits are dead cap hits. Like, they need cheap talent. Patrick Surtain's not going to be cheap when he gets his extension, right? So if Surtain is on the move, we know that they could get high value assets for him. He's one of the best corners in the league. What do you think about Dallas? Because they lost Diggs.
Oh, I'm with you.
Making a move for Surtain and saying, fuck it, we are all in right now. We will figure out the money later.
Well, it's a very Saints way to play it, that's for sure. I really like the fit. I am sure that Dan Quinn would be all about it. What defensive coordinator doesn't love it when you basically go, hey, you lost, one of the best corners in the league at creating turnovers. How would you like having one of the best corners in the league, period, like at just about everything? Nobody's going to say no. So it would be a really interesting fit. It would absolutely be exactly as you set it up, right? Like, this is all the chips to the middle, like on a somewhat early hand. Just like, nope, we'll take him. Don't care what it costs, because that would basically be what they were saying. They've got fairly expensive contracts on their own, but that would be cool. Like, as an NFL fan, I would like to see it. Can they do it now so that he plays on Sunday?
Let's see. So Ben Johnson going to be gone. Yeah, he's too good. Yeah, Ben's going to get hired in the next cycle.
We thought he was going to go last year. He did get head coach interviews last year. He didn't feel like the fit was right. I think it was a wise choice for him to come back, but we thought there was a very strong possibility, and there was. If he'd said yes, he would have been gone last year. So Lions are lucky, a little bit like when Dable stayed the extra year in Buffalo, a little bit like when EB stayed for 10 years in KC. When you have a really good offensive coordinator and they don't leave, you have to consider yourself lucky in the modern environment for sure.
All right, Lions back in second goal opportunity.
Interesting play. I like it. It was fun. It didn't work, but
at this point, they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're up by a few scores. They're pulling out their Andy Reid. I was like, let's have fun with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're just a few notches below Reid on the hey, let's throw it backwards over our head and see if it works. Receiver slipped on the outside there, wasn't up out of his break before the ball was on him, so he didn't even get his head around. But looked like he either slipped or, had contact and slipped. Either way, it's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Goal line stuff is just bang bang. It's got it. Every step's got to count. Got to drive off the correct foot.
All right, third and goal here.
Goff looking left, rotating right, trying to roll out. Got to get rid of it. Gets rid of it, and the Packers fans go nuts. That is a very good defensive rep from the Packers. They smothered the coverage and got pressure. That is a 1-2 punch you want.
And drew a hold.
Yep, and caused a hold, which you're often going to see when the quarterback looks through his first, in that case, 3 reads and goes, nah, got to go.
All right, so you take the field goal here, make it 17-3, which, again, you're feeling pretty good about. Considering the start of the game, you're feeling pretty good about it.
That's the first piece of life I've seen out of the Packers. That's them bowing up in the red zone, right? Backed up against their own goal line, have to get it right. If they give up a touchdown here, it's tough sledding. They haven't showed the ability to pop offensively yet. Really good stand by the Packers at their place, right? They're at home. They gotta, they play with a lot of pride, and that was a very important down for them. So. Third and goal, backed up.
Oh, they took the hold.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm
not sure I would have done that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a longer field goal now for sure. Didn't make the catch.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have made the touchdown either way.
Well, because I wouldn't want to risk another rep of them taking a shot to the end zone and hitting it, because it's the percentages for field goals don't change that much at this area of the field.
Right.
I'm not sure I would have done that.
With the zone of pushing them back, this doesn't make it a whole lot worse, field goal wise.
I come in dire need of advice. Dynasty PPR, Justin Jefferson and Ryan Tannehill for Mac T Mechie, and 2024 mid first 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, and 3.
So you're getting 3 picks. You're getting 3 picks. You're getting Mac, T, and Mechie for Justin Jefferson and Tannehill? Yeah. So basically just for Justin Jefferson, if we're being honest.
At this point, yeah. This is basically throwing players in for JJ.
It feels like they're just trying to shovel as much garbage on you to get Jefferson as possible. Do you need the picks? Like, is your roster bad? If your roster's bad, I would consider it.
Yeah, if you're rebuilding, you can spin an asset. Honestly, that other pile is probably not going to produce as many points as Justin Jefferson, but it could, and that's what they're trying to hook you with. And, like Brett said, if you need picks to rebuild, like mid, first, second, and third, okay.
But if you don't need the picks, fuck it. No, just keep Jefferson. Because it's not like any of those players would ever start over Justin Jefferson for you. Like, T definitely wouldn't, so.
Well, he could. Well, no, he won't. He won't. Just period, he won't. But he could be a very good number 2, depending on, again, like we talked about at the top, if the Bengals, have to pay him, they're not going to pay him. He's going to move on. If he moves on, gets to a good situation with a great quarterback, he could be I fully believe he could be a number one. Has not looked like it so far this year, but absolutely looked like it all of last year.
Yeah.
So that ability is there. We talked about landing spots for quarterbacks at the top of the show, landing spots for wide receivers, just a step farther down the food chain in terms of being dependent. So they land in the right spot. I mean, look at all the people that, Aaron Rodgers made stars out of in this house that really weren't, right? They weren't as good as he made them look. They're good receivers, but he made them look so much better because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Somebody in the chat asked, can you explain the Fangio Zeus call? So Zeus is I'm trying to see best way to explain this. So it's quarter, half, but where the half field safety.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're like 6 seconds ahead. Hold on.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Whoops.
Another
Tip
high
drill.
ball over the middle. Another high ball over the middle.
Well, it got tipped. It got tipped and picked.
Zeus is its quarter, half. The half field safety, in terms of where the half field safety is going to be on the field, is determined by where the star receiver is. So basically, you're identifying a jersey number and you're saying, hey, if he's isolated to the backside, that's where the half field safety is. If he's on the front side, that's where the half field safety is. So it's quarter, half, and the half field safety is just determined by where's the guy we're trying to take away.
Oh my God, that's a tremendous play by Anzalone. Like full extension, just the fingertips. Amazing. If they punch this in, and come on, they're on the 7.
Yeah,
like
they have to. No, it's David Montgomery time.
If they punch this in quick, down to the 2. Like, boy, if in a quick change situation, if Detroit turns this into 7 points, and Jordan Love is the reason, we're going to get to see what Jordan Love really is made of, because obviously very, very tough first quarter. He struggled, throwing not just that ball, but a couple other balls that were, turnover worthy. And if the Lions go up, which they just did, we're going to get to see what Jordan Love is really made of, which I'm excited about because, again, not because I think he's bad, but because we just haven't seen him put under real pressure. He is now under real pressure. Like, he is down 20 points at home. He just threw a pick that gave them quick points. Like, he's going to have to dig down and figure out how he's going to play the rest of this game. And if he folds, it'll tell us one thing about a young quarterback. If he bucks up and keeps this close, starts chewing into that lead a little bit, gets the Packers, efficient again, we'll learn something else. But we just haven't had that opportunity. Like he has had, I've said this for the first 3 weeks, and everybody, I can't really say anything about Packers quarterbacks because I'm a known Bears fan. So therefore I can't possibly look at a football player and say anything reasonable about them. But like he's had easy sledding. Again, he's faced the 3rd least pressure in the entire league. And he's looked pretty solid. Not great, but pretty solid doing what he's supposed to. He's hit singles and doubles and they've won games. Like, good for him. But we haven't seen this yet. And now we get to see it. And I'm excited about that.
Why are teams so quick to abandon the run in the first half when they're down 2 scores? If your run game is your strength, why abandon it? Well, yeah, they're down more than 2, but I agree. If you're in the first half and you're down by 2 scores, it's not the end of the world. You can keep running the ball. If you're down by this many scores, now you probably want to start thinking about airing it out. But do they trust Jordan Love to air it out? We'll see.
European division?
We'll see. Also, Dave Montgomery, another touchdown. Thoughts on potential European division? I don't know how it would work with travel.
I do. I heard something about this last weekend that I'm really excited about, so I'll take this one.
Go for it.
It won't be necessarily soon, which it wouldn't be anyways, because logistically that's a very hard thing to mount. One of the key aspects, like you said, is travel time. They are reintroducing a Concorde-like variant that goes into testing in 2024 and will be tested through 2026 or 7 and maybe carrying passengers by 2028 or 2029.
What's the flight time on it, though?
It's Concorde-like.
So like 2 hours from East Coast to England, maybe?
Little bit more, but yeah, 2:15, something completely reasonable, right? So I hadn't heard that. We were driving by Boeing Field, leaving the stadium on Sunday, and one of the guys in the car said, "Oh, well, they're gonna basically, because we drove by the Museum of Flight and they have a Concorde there." And I pointed it out, and he was like, "I've never seen one." And somebody else was like, "Hey, they're coming up with a new supersonic variant that's going to enter testing pretty soon. It tests for about 3 years because that's how aviation goes. You want to make sure it's not going to fall out of the sky. And then a couple of years after that, they're believing, if they stay on schedule, so by 2028 or 2029, it's going to be carrying passengers. That could change the game, because then you could have a European division with realistic flight times.
If you can do LA to London in 5 hours, it's doable. It's doable.
It's about right.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Henry Carlson, could we get a Tom Grossi wellness check? He's probably going through it. I'll check on Tom after the game.
Yeah, he was anxious before the game, and when the Bakhtiari news came out that definitively Bakhtiari was not playing and going on IR, he was not a happy fella.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Pronger5 for $20. Thank you, Pronger. Appreciate you. Wanted to say thanks for all the content over the years. Been watching since the first or second draft stream. Honestly, not sure. Also, just celebrated my 21st and tried to get an LA freeway, but got cut off instead. Dude.
They're like, anybody that asked for that is clearly not right. Out. You're welcome. If I ever end up in the same locale as you, I will buy you something much nicer than that for all the continued support, and I would be happy to. Now that you're 21, that'd be fun. But nice try. Good on you for the effort. I'm sorry that happened, but we'll keep it a little bit more down the middle next time.
It'd be easier for you to get a shot of absinthe.
Oh, 100%, which is still bad, but not as bad typically.
All right. Jordan Love, 2nd and 5. Let's see what you got.
Oh! Well, your Aaron Jones whatever is not going to get anything with Cam Sutton out there wrecking shop.
Yikes. What a hit.
Yeah.
What a hit.
Big shout out to Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton has been playing ball this year. Like, Cam Sutton has been playing lockdown physical corner for the Lions and making hits like that. This is not his first rodeo. Cam Sutton has been a difference maker for the Lions that a lot of people are not mentioning. Big shout out to Cam Sutton. That's obviously a super highlight play, but he has been very solid throughout. They've been leaning on him, and he's been paying it off. So,
all right, 3rd and 7. Danger zone here. Looks like quarters pre-snap. Still
get
quarters.
That shot out of here.
Yeah, that was not a great ball. A little bit behind his receiver. Not ideal placement so far from Jordan Love here.
Yeah. And again, right up in your grill. Is that Branch? Yep. Brian Branch. Didn't get the tackle, got the pass breakup instead. Come on.
It's got to be out here. It's got to be leading away from the leverage of the defender. If you leave it here, there's space to reach in. So not an ideal ball. He missed it by a little, but a little matters in the NFL.
Yeah, and Brian Branch has been playing better and better as the weeks have gone on. It's not that he was ever playing poorly, but he's heating up. He was my number 1 defensive gem this year. Love that guy. Kind of sorry that he ended up on a division rival, but going to enjoy watching him play football wherever he is, because I think he's a hellacious football player, and people are like, oh, he ran slow. And I'm like, dude, watch the tape. This is a really, really, really good football player. Do not worry about the time speed. It is fine on the field, and he's showing that here in the pros. He was in that guy's hip pocket, plays very, very fast mentally, makes him look even faster physically on the field, and that ball was an easy PBU. Like he kind of casually batted that away.
Can any of you guys explain why Matt isn't running the ball at least a little? Take a bit of pressure off Jordan, maybe. I don't know. This sucks. I feel like the game got away from them quicker than than they anticipated, and so they couldn't really get into a lot of the runs that they maybe had scripted or planned. And now we got to pivot, right? You're down by 21 points in the first half. You got to pivot. So I don't think that they even really got a chance to get into the cadence of play calls that they wanted to get into. So it's tough, right? And you got to, this game plan you've been working on for 7 days, you got to pivot it in the first half and then just make it up as you go along and trust your quarterback to kind of tap dance out there. And so far, not going super great.
And they may have figured out in pregame warmups that Aaron Jones was a little more tender, not quite as ready as they expected. And the Lions' run defense has been pretty good, pretty stout this year. And they may have decided, hey, we don't want to slam him into the line 15 times. Like, we're gonna try and get 5 to 7 runs out of him, and 3 to 5 of those are going to be OZ, and see if he can get to the corner. And now you're sort of in a slugfest. The defense is giving you nothing. They've given him nothing to the edge on the run. They've given him nothing through the middle. They've given him nothing in the pass game. They haven't really tried deep yet, but again, they're not getting a lot of time to do that. So that's a tough trust throw. You got to throw like a quick play action shot if you're going to try and get it deep on a short hold. And I don't think they have that faith right now that they're in a good spot to try and hit that. In fact, they probably think that might be a turnover worthy play waiting to happen. So yeah, what do you do? Like, you can't go outside, you can't go inside, short passing game's not working. Like, then what?
Well, right now their danger zone's over the middle. So if you can't work the middle of the field in an offense that has historically worked the middle of the field, what do you got? So, okay, another catch for Amon-Ra, another first down.
I was going to say, how many of those do you need? 7? You
I need
8?
7 catches from him. He's got 2.
Is it over 6.5? I thought it was over 7.
Over 6.5.
Okay, so you need 7. All right, so he's got 2. All right.
But again, we talk about the script changing for Green Bay. The script also changing for the Lions here too. If they get 30 first half points, very possible we just get cruise control in the second half. So,
great run from Montgomery. God, he
looks healthy. He looks healthy.
I'm happy for him. He's such a good runner. He put in so much effort in Chicago and had not a great offensive line in front of him for the most part, and still made some amazing runs. So flag hold coming back. It's on Jackson. That's a bummer. But boy, Montgomery showing that sharp cut on the outside, not typically his game, but just dusted the DB.
I can't remember which leg was it that was hurt for him, left or right? I think it might have been the right leg. So he cut off the left leg. So, well, not cut off the left leg. He cut off the left leg. He
wasn't that hurt, man. Get the bone saw out.
The Lions medical staff is just a whole bunch of Revolutionary War doctors.
I thought that was the Chargers. Sorry, my bad.
Gonna get me in trouble, EJ.
I know. I apologize to the Chargers training staff. It's the Bears at this point. Like, everybody's out. Did you see the starting secondary for the Bears on Sunday?
There's nobody left.
Yeah, if you can name all of them, I'll give you $1.
Here's the thing. I follow the Bears, and I know I can't. So if I can't do it, nobody can.
However, again, looking for bright spots. God, Goff is one of those guys, and he's a little bit like Cousins in this way, and this is a real positive. Both of those guys, not necessarily the most mobile in the world, will absolutely stand in and just take a beating to make a throw.
Yep.
And he knew he was going to get hit right here, right in the mug. Like, he saw the guy coming, and he just no shame in his game. Strong set, delivered the ball. It's not a completion, but like, he is fearless in that way, and that's just so hard to do.
I don't mean to deride Mac Jones here, but it is an underrated quality for a quarterback, because there was a throw that Mac had for Pop Douglas last week where he had a touchdown. Like, Demario Douglas had 3 steps on the DB. He was going down the field. It was 6. And all Mac had to do was stand in there and deliver the ball and then be willing to just get tattooed right after. And instead,
Yep.
he fell away from it. He didn't need to fall away from it, but he fell away from it, kind of back-footed it, and short-hopped it by like 10 feet.
Yep.
The ability, or rather the willingness for a quarterback to just get fucking slaughtered in the name of a really cool throw, underrated quality.
Yeah, and Goff has it. He's shown it over and over again. It's not a new thing for him. He showed it in LA too. He's just one of those stand tall type quarterbacks. And I don't know that it's some people say, oh, that's a habit or you don't. It certainly helps. It's not something you want to try and teach somebody. Trying to think of somebody that developed that, like got better at that. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
Are you going to be at Cowboys versus Chargers on the 16th? I am. I might actually be on the field. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to be on the field or if I'm going to be in the stands. So I'll let you know.
What the circus? What are you doing?
This is just one of those Packers games, man. It's one of those Packers games where they look like they can't do anything.
It's turning into it. Like, he has no business touching this ball. Like, I like Jayden Reed. Like, I like him a lot. That was dumb. Like, that was super, super dumb.
That's like who was the Clemson kid they drafted a few years ago who was like an actual liability every time he was on the field, whether it's special teams as a receiver. I can't remember. We saw him at the Senior Bowl. That was what he would have done.
I really like Reed. I had Reed and Marvin Mims close. Like, those are two guys that I thought had similar skill sets. I had Mims slightly higher than Reed, but they were very close for me, and I both thought they were very good in my mind. Mid-round, by mid-round, I mean anytime after the end of the second. And Jayden Reed's been involved in their offense. He's been really good for them. Obviously not as explosive as Mims for the Broncos.
Amari Rogers, thank you, chat.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan.
He was treading the line right there.
Was that a left-handed throw?
Yeah. Musgrave just bailed him out.
That's actually kind of impressive. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, Hutchinson's forgot. He's so sad. He's so sad he had him. Oh, man. Okay, 10 dropbacks, 2 hits, 2 sacks, 1 hit, 2 hurries. So 5 of his 10 dropbacks, he's seen significant pressure.
That's the first time that's happened to him in his career.
Much love.
Yeah.
Fellas.
And finally, it hits
Forward to
Dobbs.
Denver.
You got a Dobbs first down or yards?
Well, the day is saved. No, I got yards after catch.
Oh, and of course, he catches it, goes directly out of bounds, which is typically what he's been doing, which is why they pulled that pretty low number. We need him on a crosser, and they don't typically run him on crossers. We need Dobbs on a crosser, something fierce, like real bad.
Or just hitch, break tackle, run.
Yeah, that would work too. Absolutely.
Amari Rogers. Yep. Thank you, chat. I knew it was Amari something. I couldn't remember the last name.
Yeah. Cole Fukai for $2. Much love, fellas, to you as well, Cole. Caleb or May to Denver?
Caleb to anybody.
I was going to say, whoever Chicago doesn't pick, Denver can have.
You're so confident. You're so confident that they're not going to fuck it up.
Dude, they're going to have 2 top 5 picks.
But if they don't have one, it doesn't matter. Because whoever has one,
I understand.
I'd be surprised if they give it up. If whoever has one doesn't already have, I'm not kidding, a top 8 quarterback, which is not going to happen because you don't pick one when you have a top 8 quarterback. They're not going to give it up. Unless Caleb outright tells them, I'm not going to you, trade it.
Right. Oh! Wow. Okay. So LaFleur was getting a little bit comfortable with his play calls. He was like, all right. And by comfortable, I don't mean lazy. I mean, he was getting into a bit of a rhythm. They were earning yards. Things are working. Whoops. Aleem McNeil says, nah, man.
We do love Aleem. Also,
I was a high pick for
were
a
they
reason.
trying to wham him with the tight end, or was that just a weird coincidence?
Well, they were bringing somebody across. They were bringing the guard across.
Well, because the tight end was coming from the other side. So.
Oh, McNeil is on a heater. TFL in a sack in 2 consecutive snaps. We have not seen that from him. We have seen flashes. We have not seen consistency. This is him. Oh, man. This is blood in the water type stuff.
He did drop a little bit of weight this offseason because he wanted to do more of this, from either a wide 3 or a 4. Oh, man. So that's the danger when you don't have Bakhtiari in and you have a left side of the offensive line that doesn't really know each other. And
agree.
You have an ET stunt, or sorry, this would be a TE stunt, where you have the 3 technique, which is Lee McNeil hitting the inside shoulder of the tackle, right? And that's what he's aiming for. He's aiming for the inside shoulder of the tackle because he knows the guard is going to peel off to handle Hutchinson. Hutchinson's looping around inside. So all McNeil has to do is take that inside shoulder and say, you can't turn around and recover. I'm just going to keep pushing you. And then eventually I'm going to get dumped out into the quarterback, right? And when you have an offensive line that doesn't communicate well and they lose these levels with each other, they can't pass things off. So, I mean, it's shooting fish in a barrel here.
Yeah, it was actually a good ball out to Dubs again on a ball that the Lions are just going to give him, right? If it's short of the sticks, we're just going to give it to him. And again, Dubs catches it and goes right out of bounds. I think he got a half yard worth of yak. So you're going to need like 28 catches from him to get your mark.
It's encouraging.
Yeah, at this rate. Did you see the pressure stats? So first half, they gave the sort of average first half stats for the first 3 games, and tonight is 4 of 10 for Love with pressure.
Yikes.
Yeah, and and a pick like not great.
Do I trade Swift to get Gibbs in PPR? Considering how much red zone work Swift gets, if you're trading Swift, it's because you think he's going to get hurt. That's literally what that is saying. If Gibbs is healthy and Swift is healthy, I want Swift at this point.
Behind that offensive line?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're trading him, it's because you are trying to get out before you think he gets hurt.
And the other thing is Gibbs is splitting with Montgomery. Like Swift is starting to take some carries from Gainwell just, I think, on his own.
Mm-hmm. No, he is. For sure he is.
And Gibbs is still sort of biting around the edges, right? He's still the alternate back and the guy that they're going to use creatively for passing when they're looking for a bit more of a shot play, whereas Swift, like especially this last week when Gainwell was hurt, like he looked more like a lead back, which is kind of what they paid for when they got him. That was their idea, is that they were going to get a bargain on a guy that could be a number 1 if they wanted him to be, especially behind their line.
Jawbreakers for $5. Thoughts on the Giants rookies so far? Also, I missed the whiteboard allocator. Yeah, I had a little complications with my easel there, so I don't have the whiteboard this week. But
complications. I so want to know that story when we go to Texas.
There's a missing screw somewhere, and I don't know where it is. So we're trying to find it, okay? But as for the Giants class, John Michael Schmitz started out really rough, gotten better. He's allowed 7 pressures in 3 games. Not ideal for a center, right? Centers, there's a lot of centers that don't allow 10 pressures in a season. So he's had 7 in 3 games. Not ideal. But he's looked better with each passing week. Jalen Hyatt, we just haven't seen enough of. They're just not really giving him snaps, even though I think he's got more juice than a lot of the other guys they got there. Hawkins has been awesome. Won the starting job. I like Hawkins a lot. Deontay Banks. I'll get back to that in 1 second.
No, it's a pretty basic inside run in terms of play call, but I thought there might have been a face mask. He got his hand up around the head. I don't think he grabbed it necessarily, but again, the Lions, if they get more points off going heavy, playing Dan Campbell ball, right, running it down their throats, at that point, what do you do, right? If they're just pounding you and they get the points, Laporta being a glue guy, coming up a little short on 2nd and 6, but gives him 3rd and short. What a valuable weapon. And just a little hitch route.
I love that when he turned one way, he got held up, so he turned back the other way. It's little details.
He understands what his quarterback is looking for, which again, for a guy that had as little passing experience or little experience in the passing game as he did at Iowa, that's impressive stuff for a rookie.
Where was I had my
there you go.
stats on the Giants.
That pays it, I think.
Yeah, no, because I only had 2.5 first downs, and he is at 5. Here, let me throw up the slip right now.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah, so he's at 5. We're good. I need 5 more catches from Amon-Ra. I need 2 more tackles from Brian Branch. I need Dubs to do a lot. I need some sort of Herculean effort from Aaron Jones. It's not like the worst position to be in.
You need Aaron Jones to play a little bit.
That would help.
That's what you need from Aaron Jones.
But we're in a decent spot. This is why we do insurance on the slip, so we only have to hit 4.
Oh, did Amon-Ra just drop one? I'm sorry, my feed got fuzzy there for a second.
No, ball got tipped. But Deonte Banks for the Giants, I thought has been a little bit up and down, but mostly up. There's been more ups than downs.
I love the physical play out of him.
He's very, very physical. I do think
he's being the same guy at this point, and I kind of like that. Like, you're getting what was advertised with him.
Well, sometimes he will bite on the first thing he sees sometimes, which again, that's kind of the down I'm referring to. But at the same time, it's going to lead to big plays. So if I was going to compare him to anybody, like early career Marcus Peters is kind of what he's reminding me of right now, in a good way.
Yeah, but sorry, way better against the run.
Most corners are better than Marcus Peters.
Yeah, it was like Marcus Peters just basically flat out refused to tackle, which is why he got the bad drop by Laporta there. Goff again takes another shot. But Laporta right in the hands, he thought he had it.
Bounced off.
Yeah, that's rough. He could have had that, should have had that.
Goff's got to be careful about putting his arm out when he gets slammed on that shoulder. That can be a bad one.
Okay, there you go. Oh, all right. I'm impressed.
All right, nice little seam ball to Amon-Ra. Huge gain.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
Yep. So how many more you need from him? He's got
4 more. 4 more.
4 more. Okay.
Yeah, and these kind of catches are where Amon-Ra's at his best, where it's basically just find space, go to space.
Yeah.
And Jared
get me the ball and let me go do things.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Marcus Peters had a couple TFLs against the run on Sunday night. I'm more referring to like Chiefs Marcus Peters. Chiefs Marcus Peters had no interest in playing the run.
Yeah, we're talking about rookie Marcus Peters. Oh, man. Whew.
He got out of it.
Okay. Yeah, come on.
Of course, that one Laporta catches.
Well, yeah, but you got to give it up for him. Like, I'm like you. I was not super hot on Laporta. I liked him. I didn't love him. There were a lot of people I knew that were really hot on Laporta and said, what are you doing? You got him way too low. And I said, he could, but I just don't think he necessarily is gonna. He absolutely is through the early going. He is proving them right and me wrong, and good on him. Again, I liked him. He was not a guy that I had way down the board or anything else, but he is so much better than what I thought he would be early on. I thought if he was ever going to get to this level, it was going to be in like year 3.
I was right there with you.
And he's in game 3 or game 4, right? Like, come on. You've got to applaud it and be like, hey, there was a lot more there that we didn't get to see at Iowa. And really that's what we're going off of. It's not like we got a chance to sit with Sam and interview him. But what he showed on film, there was a lot of projection there. And again, landing spot, Ben Johnson, Goff, year 2 of that offense. They needed this role. They understood it. They traded away TJ Hawkinson, who would have been taking a lot of these touches. Like all these things.
He's out producing Hawkinson. Well, barely. Going into this week, it was Laporta, then Hawkinson were 1 and 2 for tight end yards. But he's doing it.
Exactly. So again, situation, everything lined up, but he is also paying it off. There's a lot of places around the NFL where the situation lines up, and the guy, especially if he's a rookie, especially if he's a tight end, because they are typically slow to get started. Like, like doesn't matter to Laporta a bit. He is ready to go.
Are you guys concerned Caleb could have the Bears on his trade the pick or I'm going back list, or are you confident enough in Drake May being the guy for the Bears' future to not really care? I don't know if the Bears are on that list, but I also wouldn't be surprised.
Neither would I at this point.
Because look at every other, like, again, what Caleb's family is looking at is what's every other young quarterback done there? Is it a franchise where young quarterbacks grow? The Bears in 100 years have never been a franchise where young quarterbacks have grown. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was on the list.
The only plus for Caleb going to Chicago in terms of what his family's looking at is there is huge earning potential. It's the third largest market in the country. Yeah. If he turns the Bears around, he will own that city. Like, own it.
He would be Michael Jordan status in that city.
That's right.
And 100%. Honestly, considering the value, I would say in terms of the cultural hold that the Bears have on that city versus the Bulls, I would say that he would be the closest thing that they would ever get to a Michael Jordan-like athlete.
Yeah, no, if he turns them around and they win the NFC North and they're in the playoffs every year and they're challenging and they're a top team in 2 or 3 years because he's amazing and he's quote unquote Mahomes like, which you know how much I loathe that comparison, but I mean sometimes you see it.
If the shoe fits, man.
If that all worked out, and I'm not saying it would because like you said, it has not in Chicago. If he did, his earning potential would be basically unlimited. It's kind of the same thing about, Eli didn't want to go hang out in San Diego, right? He wanted to go to New York City and his family wanted him to go to New York City. And I understand why, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he said he's doing Corona ads for the rest of his life, like hanging out, getting free limes. So
hypothetically, Flus gets canned. Who would you?
Boy, they're gashing him up the middle at this point, which is very non-Packers like.
Well, when you're playing double threes, kind of interesting. They were playing, at least the angle looked like they were playing their 2-3 techniques. So both A gaps uncovered gives you a lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah, this is pretty rough though in terms of game, like just call it game strategy and position. Detroit is grinding down the field. They're, we're inside the 2-minute warning. Got a minute left until half. If they score right before halftime with this methodical kind of drive, never give the Packers the ball back, and go into the locker room up,
31-3.
24 at minimum, 31 at most, right? That is a tough hill to climb in the second half. LaFleur is going to have to be 100% masterful, and Jordan Love is going to have to play a lot better than he did in the first half.
Hypothetically, Flus gets canned. Who would you want as the DC, and thoughts on Penix Jr.? Who would I want as the DC? Whoever Ben Johnson hires. that's who I want as the DC.
Right. I think that's the best answer is, it's interesting because you look at who they have on defense and the quote unquote strengths of the defense should be like Edmonds at linebacker, and the secondary, because they've invested in the secondary. Now, they invested some in the defensive line this year, but again, some of that was free agency, and some of that was young players in the draft. We like one more than the other. So who's really good with the back seven? But you need pressure. And so it's a very odd deal. And if Sean Desai was still floating around, he's got a history with the Bears. He's doing great in Philly this year. I would say Sean Desai because I liked his schemes before. I liked what he did in Seattle. I really like what he's doing in Philly. Of course, he's got a ton of talent there. If he was willing to come back, great, but he's got a good gig. I don't know. It's
I would say Carl Scott. He's the pass game coordinator for the Seahawks. Comes from that general kind of tree.
If you give him to me as a DC, I'll take Kasarik if he wants the job.
He doesn't though.
I know.
Like, he's like, I just want to coach
defense.
defensive lineman. He's like Bill Kohler. He's like, I just want to coach defensive lineman. I don't give a shit about anything else.
I know. But I would take it because he has a proven ability to get the best out of his players, regardless of where they come from, where they were drafted. Like, that's what the Bears need, is they need coaches across the board that are committed and skilled at player development. And look, we see it in Green Bay. We have a really good example on the screen tonight of guys that get there and get better on the offensive line, on the defensive line, even in the secondary, the wide receivers. Green Bay has been very good at developing some talent. Some people say, oh, they didn't develop this guy. They didn't develop this guy. Look, there's still people that aren't going to develop. You know, they're draft busts for a reason. But Green Bay has taken players on both sides of the ball at all levels of the draft, UDFAs included, and developed them. And that's why they are, you know, continue to be a threat to win the division every year, despite, you know, yes, Hall of Fame quarterbacking helps, but they also, the big, you know, even Green Bay fans complained bitterly for years that they didn't give Rodgers any help and, you know, always ended up drafting like defensive linemen and linebackers when all they wanted was wide receivers. And they could afford to do that because they're picking linemen in the 6th round that were going to start for 6 years. That's development. You need it.
Ben Johnson, 100% going to LA. If a job opening happens, anybody would want to work with Justin Herbert. That would be the most desirable.
Yeah.
Anywhere, right? So you're correct, I guess, but that applies to everybody, you know? And also, if the Chargers turn it around, like, Brandon Staley's still going to be the coach of the Chargers. So we'll see. We'll see. They got to turn it around, though. They had a good win that was rocky.
Oh,
they need to beat
Josiah
the Raiders this
Deguara
week.
sighting.
He does exist.
He does exist. Oh, pressure again. They got him. Doesn't count as a sack, but it counts as a hit. Whew.
Yeah, they're unleashing the hounds at this point.
Well, he took a long time on that play. He had enough time to throw within structure. They either weren't open down the field or he didn't cut it loose because he had enough time to get it going clean. And then, 4.5 seconds in, he ends up on the ground. Well, a lot of quarterbacks are going to end up on the ground after 4.5 seconds.
Runyon's not feeling good. He's getting
limping.
Walked back, man.
Yeah, he's limping. He's only got one leg. I'm not holding that against him at all. He is playing. He's gutting it out because there's nobody left.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And, he's a Michigan lineman. I get it. He has pride in his craft. But, who are they going to go to? I literally don't think they have anybody else on the roster at this point.
Will you be starting Ayuk this week? Yes, while fully expecting him to get no points. But
Josiah Deguara.
I have to.
What is going on? I realize it's garbage time right before the half, but Josiah Deguara has been incredibly quiet this year and has 2 big catches on this drive.
It's been incredibly quiet every year, to be fair.
To be fair. Yeah, for the Letterkenny fans out there.
Let's see.
All right.
I'm just warning you guys for Saints Jags in a couple weeks. I'm gonna be very drunk and throwing money at you like you're dancing at Spearmint Rhino. I mean, I won't say no.
Brett won't. Hey, that's officially on record on the stream. Brett will not say no to dancing at the Spearmint Rhino.
Just saying, if the number's right.
If the numbers, everybody's got a number.
Hey, this mask can come off for the right amount of money. Just saying.
Well played.
All right. Well, we were hoping to get a really good TNF game. For an NFC North fan base, it's not the Packers. This counts as a really good TNF game because they consider anything where the Packers are down by 24 to be good. But for the neutral fans out there, it feels like yet another Thursday night beatdown, which is unfortunate. I had a little bit higher hopes for this one.
Late flag. Jerry Jacobs. I don't think it's a great game. Obviously, it's 27-3. It's unbalanced. We'd like to see better competition, but it is an instructional game because we've been saying for 3 weeks what happens when Jordan Love really, faces heat. When he's really thrown to the fire, what happens? Well, who is he? Is he going to be that guy that is just, maddening because he's impossible to bring down and he gets all the magical third down completions and, Green Bay's had those guys for 30 years. Is he going to be another one in the line? And he didn't get heated up and he played well. He didn't get heated up and he played well. And we're like, Atlanta will do it. And they kind of did it. They didn't really. He still played well. And Detroit's been doing it. Like Detroit has got him on the ground, a lot of pressure, got him on the ground again right here. Like he has been lit up in the first half. Like this isn't heated up. This is lit up.
Oof.
And
Again,
and he has not played well. Right. And, this is a good move from Harris. Really good move from Harris. Walker's got to do better there. I know you're backup, but come on.
just remember your absinthe number. There is no absinthe number.
Now the absence number has been burned.
That doesn't exist.
Done. All right, it is halftime. I'm gonna go check in, make sure the doggies got fed. I believe they did. I believe that I heard my family come home and take care of them. But I'm also gonna grab another one of these delicious Oktoberfest lagers from Silver City Brewery. No, they are not a sponsor, but if anybody from Silver City's watching and you want to be a sponsor,
again, we won't say no.
Up.
We will
hit
take
me
your money.
up. My number will be very low if you want to sponsor me for free Silver City beer. Good stuff. Great local brewery. Love their creativity. They also, they were the place. I don't know if I sent this to you. Summer, we went for a bike ride and we ended up driving past the brewery. And we ended up stopping because my daughter was hungry. And they had on their specials list pork belly burnt ends.
Excuse me?
Right. They were
What?
delicious. They were so good. One of the best things I had to eat all summer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. So great food, great beer. Love Silver City. Gonna go get another one. Be back in a few minutes.
Brett, why has Tyree Wilson struggled? Chiefs fans, so don't watch the Raiders often. I have not watched Tyree Wilson yet personally. So I saw the stat about the 0.0% pass rush win rate. Believe me, I will be looking into that. I haven't watched him yet. I only watched the other guy with the 0.0% win rate, which is Zach Pickens. So I will get on that, and I'll have an answer for you next week. Tom G is dying right now. Poor Grassi. Poor Grassi. Genuinely great guy. He doesn't deserve this pain. He really doesn't. Do I have the most frustrating wide receivers in fantasy? Garrett Wilson, Drake London, DJ Moore, John Dodson, Marvin Mims. Traded for Mike Williams last week. Oh my God. What, you're averaging like 1 point for each receiver? That's horrific.
The most frustrating WRs in fantasy. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, DJ Moore, Jahan Dotson, Marvin Mims. Traded for Mike Williams last week.
That is so bad. First of all, I'm sorry. I mean, RIP your fantasy team. You're done this year. You're done. But it's almost comical. It's almost impressive how unlucky you are, actually. Like, that's historically brutal. All right, let me see if there's any others that I missed. I don't think there is. Much love, fellas. Caleb or May to Denver. Caleb for me. I know that May has his fans, and there's a lot of people that think that May might end up being the better guy. For me, I'm a Caleb truther. Like, I understand the complaints about the leaving the pocket early and you know, he's got some Jalen Hurts-y type things, and I don't mean that in a good way, when early Jalen would constantly leave clean pockets and get himself into trouble. I get that exists. But at the same time, when he does get out of the pocket, he's so accurate and he's so special that he makes up for it. So he just needs to go to a coach that will rein him in just like Andy reined in Mahomes, and now Mahomes is basically just a point guard. You know, he wins with Yak and he
Happy
wins with the quick
Thursday,
passing game.
guys. Can I get an over/under
So Caleb needs to go to a
when
coach that will
Joseph
add
gets
that element
fired
to his
again?
game, just like
Will Sean
Andy did for
Payton's
Pat.
first year with the
But
Broncos
I
be
would
more
say
or
that
less
even then,
embarrassing than
Caleb
Haggis?
is further ahead at his age than Mahomes was at that age. So if there's anybody that could ever become, quote unquote, the new Mahomes, it would be Caleb. So I would take that bet specifically because Sean Payton's the coach there. All right, I think I caught up on all the others. Happy Thursday, guys. This is from Icelandic Fart Police. Thank you, IFP. Can I get an over-under on what week Vance Joseph gets fired again? Will Sean Payton's first year with the Broncos be more or less embarrassing than Hackett's? So far, it is more embarrassing than Hackett's because he talks shit. That's the critical point here, is he talks shit. And when you talk shit and don't back it up, that's more embarrassing. As for what week he'll be fired, give it 2 more weeks. If they keep averaging like 30 points a game, it'll be 2 more weeks. All right, let's get to halftime slips here. Let's see what we got available to us. So Jared Goff for a passing touchdown. He's at 12 completions. That's interesting. So I need 8 more completions or 12 more attempts. Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna go with touchdowns. How about that? That one, just because I need one pass, right? And then for Gibbs and Montgomery, he's at 53 rushing yards. I think he's gonna grind this one out, so we'll go higher on Montgomery. See, for Jordan Love, is there a passing attempts? I don't think he'll get there just because I think he's going to get pulled. So I'll go lower on that. And then can I get any sort of receiver here? I'll go higher on Reed for receptions. And that feels good. I don't really like any of the other ones. So I'll just do a 4-banger. How about that? And I'll just do standard. I'm going to drop this link for you guys if you want to tail it. Second half hasn't started yet, so if you're already on Underdog, again, you could tail that at the link that I just dropped into chat. It'll automatically fill it out. And so then you just click submit for whatever number you could be $2, whatever you want, just to give us something to cheer for in the second half. And if you're not already on Underdog, if you use promo code BOOTLEG, they will match your deposit up to $100. So whatever you put in, up to $100, they will double it for you and give you a bunch of extra money to use to do these little slips that make games like this one remotely bearable to watch. So, and we thank Underdog obviously for sponsoring the show for the next 2 years and being a partner of ours. Couldn't do it without them. Get to the picks here. Now that the Lions game is over, what were your thoughts on the Eagles season so far? I still feel like the Eagles have not played their best game, if I'm being completely honest.
Now that the Lions game is over, what were your thoughts on the Eagles?
Thank you,
season
Brian.
so
Please
far?
catch up. AI voice taking a while to catch up. I don't think that they played their complete game. Particularly the passing game the first couple weeks was rough, very inconsistent. The run game and specifically the offensive line being just absolute hosses in short yardage and keeping drives going has been the key for them. Their defensive line has been awesome, but their secondary has just looked slower, which at their age I can understand. There's holes, though, with this Eagles team. I don't feel like they are playing as well in September as they did early on last year. Like I don't quite see them as the can openers maybe that they should be on paper. Again, there's things that they can clean up and everything, but like this past week was the first time where I saw their passing game show glimpses of what we're used to. But up until that point, I didn't quite see it. You know, they weren't hitting on the deep shots. Man coverage was far more effective against them than you would expect for somebody with that skill position, that quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see if they improve those things. I mean, the secondary being slow, I don't necessarily think they can improve that. That's just a reality of DBs being at those ages. But you know, passing game needs to get its shit together for sure. Run game still looks good though. Pardon me. Would you have any Grey Poupon? Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you. That's a deep cut reference. A lot of the younger folks watching this will have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. If the Falcons make the playoffs but get bounced in the wild card, do you think Shedeur Sanders could fall far enough for the Falcons to take him? He's a quarterback, A, so it's less likely. And he's a very talented quarterback, B, so it's even less likely. It depends on if you feel like Penix will go ahead of him. It depends on if you feel that Bo Nix would go ahead of him. Like, if you think that he's QB5, sure, it's possible. If you think he's QB3, how often does QB3 go outside the top 20, you know? So it really just depends on what you think of Shedeur. If you think of Shedeur like he is that guy, you got no shot. But if you think he's like a Mac Jonesy type QB5 or like Mac Jones in the sense that he will be the fifth quarterback taken, yeah, maybe. Start Tank, Terry, or Zay this week for my flex. Well, the Browns defense is the best in the league, so I'm not super comfortable starting any Ravens, to be perfectly honest. And Tank has looked great, but the Texans, down 80% of their offensive line, are going against the best pass rush in the league, or one of the best pass rushes in the league. So I don't feel great about anything Houston either. So by default, I'll go Terry. He has returned.
He has returned, and I come bearing tidings that you will be excited about.
What are the tidings?
I made a mixed drink for the second half.
You?
Right.
Foregoing beer?
No.
Oh, okay. So one of each, I see. Yeah.
I'm backing it up.
Yeah.
But no, I had like half a bottle of Coke left over from lunch, and I realized that the only way I tend to drink that Macallan 12 is in smoky Cokes. And I was like, I don't have Coke in the house very often. So I was like, oh, hey, I have a half bottle of Coke. So I obviously put ice in a glass, poured in a little bit of Coke, poured in about half to maybe 3/4 of a shot of Macallan 12. And then I put in about half a shot of hazelnut espresso vodka from Crater Lake.
Oh.
See?
Ooh.
See?
Okay. That's interesting.
I knew you'd be excited about
so
this.
It's like a smoky, very boozy vanilla Coke.
Yeah. I think
down.
Chris would like this. Chris of Rock Pile Report would be down with some even froofier version of this, but it's tasty.
He would just make his own syrup. He would do an elevated Coke syrup.
He would probably like source his own vanilla beans and do whatever. But no. Anyways, it's a quick and dirty version of that. Love Crater Lake stuff. And this is, you know me. I don't drink a lot of mixed drinks ever. I drink either like whiskey on the rocks or bourbon on the rocks or beer for the most part. But this is enjoyable.
I thought Shedeur said he was coming back. Shedeur says he's coming back until he sees exactly where he think he might get picked. Because if there's a $20 million contract on the board,
yeah, if he's going in the top half of the first round, he's going.
His
Thanks,
own
Dad.
father would be like, "What are you doing, kid? Go to the NFL."
Yeah, and the Colorado offensive line may not be great next year. They will be much better. 100% will be much better. They may not be great. And if you're Shedeur, it's like, and you're getting picked in the mid-second, you might go to a place that has a half-decent offensive line. If you stay at Colorado, that's what you're going to get is a half decent offensive line.
If he has a contract that's paying him more than he would get NIL, because NIL, I would say, let's see, what do I think he would get?
Dude, did you see that stat?
What?
Tied for the largest halftime road lead in team history.
Oh, for the
last time they
Lions?
had this big a lead on the road at halftime was 1970.
That's crazy.
That's a long time. That's nuts.
For Shador, if he's going to get 7 to 10 million in NIL, I could understand him saying, because he would get probably about that with the NFL. If he's getting 2 or 3 million, he's going to go to the NFL because the NFL will pay more. So that's my piece on it.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, nice return. Oh, we got a flag though.
And Nixon got dinged up at the end.
Ah, shit. Yeah, he went down
He's
real
okay.
hard on that shoulder.
He hopped up, but yeah.
Well, more got
So,
carried up.
Coming back.
But
Coming back.
it's a tough one.
If Brown's defense keeps close to this pace, does Schwartz get any head coach looks, or did Fangio scare teams away from the veteran defensive head coach? Thank you for the $5. It's a really good question. We thought this might happen. Certainly, we've seen veteran coaches come back and not have success, offensive or defensive. We thought with all the talent that Cleveland had assembled, we even said in the summer preview series, like, we really like Brian Flores to Minnesota, but Jim Schwartz to Cleveland could be just about as big a deal. And it's proved to be a bigger deal through the early part of the season. Whether or not another team gives him a look at the head spot because of that, again, teams are going to lean heavily offensively. Ben Johnson, if the Lions keep up their pace, is probably going to be candidate number one. But a team that was looking for a presence and has a bunch of good defenders, again, Cleveland's defense was loaded with talent. If your defense is loaded with talent and you are underperforming, it's possible.
I would say a 57-year-old defensive coach is typically not the coach that owners are
No.
looking to hire, even though that coach is very good at what he does, you know. And, you know, you want to call that ageism, you want to call that bias towards offensive coordinators. You're correct, but also that's just what it is. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I would agree. What was the Aaron Jones slip? Pull the slip up again.
It's like 46. Hold on. So I got two.
Well, he just
slips
picked up like 3. So
I need 48 from him basically. He has 6, so you know we're not doing super great here.
Nah, he needs to. They need to lean on him pretty heavily, and it's weird. It's an important game because it's a division game, so it's 2 for 1. But it's early, and you don't want to risk injury that is going to be, you know, then dragging on through 6 or 7 other games. It's weird. I know Aaron Jones is a, you know, heavy duty competitor, and he wants to be out there and making sure that he's doing the best for his team, but you got to be smart. Oh, there we go. All right.
We're taking
Jordan
a shot.
Love finally finds Christian Watson down the field. Like, is he working on Brian Branch?
I mean, he was running against leverage. I wouldn't even really say that it was quote unquote covered. It's more so to find the soft spot in the zone, you know?
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. On the replay, I agree. He's going to let him go.
It's one of those where it's like, oh, he might get credit for quote unquote giving up the catch because he's the closest defender, but it's like not really, you know?
Yeah, you're going to go back and look at the replay and go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew that was coming. Ooh. And a flag. Gotta be the helmet to helmet contact.
They were using DeGuara on that little Tyreek motion where they put him as the offset tight end and then did the little exit motion on the rail down the boundary. Now, if I was going to do that with anybody, it would be somebody with speed like Jaden Reed, so it's actually a threat, man. But interesting that they're doing it.
Oh no, his hands to the face for Hutchinson. I thought they were going to get Malfonwu for helmet to helmet, which was not. He certainly didn't lead with the crown of the helmet. And didn't,
Shoulder to
you know,
shoulder ish.
Yeah, but no, they're going to get hands to the face for Hutchinson. Oh boy, that's soft. Yeah, that's
hands to the.
soft.
That's not hands to the.
That's soft. That's what that is.
I don't know about that one.
That is Charmin. That is real soft.
Now it's one thing if you're pushing the helmet up off his face, but
Yeah.
You
If
know.
you've got the under ear lip right there and you're torquing it off his head, like I get it. But he had a big handful of jersey, a little bit of shoulder pad. Yeah, did it rub up against a helmet at some point? Yeah, but come on, that happens like every play.
Jordan was a bit late on that one.
Yeah, he didn't give his receiver a great chance on that. That basically was an out of bounds. That was a foul ball.
Is it still eligible for shot of the week because there was a penalty? But wasn't a penalty on Obi, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Bennett Bar Bills. Why is Brett wearing the mask? You know, it's the ski mask. We're even though they are a fellow NFC North rival, enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we're repping the Lions tonight. We're saluting C.J. Gardner Johnson while we're doing it.
All right, you picked up some Aaron Jones yards here.
Yeah, flag though. I don't know.
Get a great offensive mind.
If the Browns defense keeps close to this pace, I already did
that
one.
That's the one we
do you
got.
think it's possible for the Jets to do what the Finns did and fire their good defensive line coach and get a great offensive mind, or defensive head coach, not defensive line coach? It's possible, but again, it would have to be signed off by Aaron.
Okay,
Because it sounds
that
like
was
Aaron's
Ted
coming
Barrett.
back, you know? So,
Yeah.
and that person would then have to be okay with having Nate Hackett as the OC because, again, Aaron calls the shots there.
Well, with his contract and what he controls in terms of the Jets salary cap, yeah.
My worry is that they fire Saleh and then just make Hackett the head coach to keep Aaron around. But
I don't know that I love that.
I don't love it at all. But again, that's why I said it's my worry that they're going to do that.
Yep. Oh man.
Oh no, Brian Branch went down.
Yeah, I know.
Oh shit. He's holding his. Oh, please don't be Achilles. Please do not be Achilles. I hope that's a cramp.
Cramp or ankle or something. He's limping off under his own power. He's not being supported. But he's not playing again tonight by the look of it.
He's trying to see if his foot's dropping. That looks really bad. Fuck.
No.
Oh man.
Damn it. I just watched the replay. Ouch, 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 ouch. I hope that is not terrible because, man.
I hope it's not what I think it is.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
All right.
Well, he
Love's
didn't immediately go to the cart, so that's good.
Yeah.
If it's
He's
just
a
a
pretty
calf
tough
strain,
customer.
we can live with that. Well, I say
For sure.
just a calf strain. Calf strains hurt like
yeah.
crazy, but
Well, Love's getting a little bit more time to throw. The results generally not a whole lot better. It's better that he's not on the ground. It's better that he's not taking hits. If you're a Packers fan, they are moving it down the field, but seems like some of the halftime adjustments got the protections solided up. Well, I say that, and they draw a holding call. Oh, wow.
yeah, offensive line not holding up at all.
Yeah, I say that right as they like collapse into three different levels, give up a hold, and I'm like, okay, well, it up to that point they had it together. They certainly didn't on that particular one. They decline it because, oh man, this is Rasheed Walker. He's having a night. Oh, his set was rough. Look at his pass set. Harris got him again. That's Harris. He victimized Walker on the hit he had before. So
I love that Charles Harris has had a nice little career revival in Detroit. He's been really productive for them since he got there.
I agree.
Love that
He
for
is
him.
outperforming, which is great to see. I'm with you. Oh, it was third and a million. And another catch for Josiah DeGuara in garbage time. Well, there's your cart.
Brian Branch is being carded.
Yep.
Fuck.
That's not positive. Oh, we hope the best for him. Honestly, we hope the best for any player that gets injured because, man, it's such a hard thing. But
He's been so good too.
He is just heating up, really. He was really starting to blossom and get comfortable and make plays in the way that we saw him make at Alabama all the time. Yeah, it's a rough loss for the defense. Oh, nice.
If
That's
if DeGuara leads them in catches tonight, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, you might, but this is Dubs. He's not going to get any yak for
1 yard of yak. Let's go,
No,
baby.
And he bobbled it too. But I got to give Love credit. He put it on him with the guy in his face
Yeah, no, that's a good ball.
in a window. That credit where credit's due. That was a good throw under pressure. Ooh,
Nice little whip.
Stout defense from the Lions.
Well, the quote unquote main slip, not looking too. I mean, we had higher on Brian Branch at 4 solos. He hit 4, and then obviously got injured. So that's unfortunate for him. Hopefully, it's not too serious. Amon-Ra, we still need 4 more catches. Dobbs hit his yak, so we need a Herculean performance from Aaron Jones, and then Amon-Ra to randomly go off in the second half, and we're good on that one.
To get the 3, just to get back to what we paid for it.
Basically. And then I did a live one during the game at halftime.
Okay.
I did lower on Jordan Love passing attempts, lower than 32.5. He's at 21. And then I did higher on Jared Goff passing TDs. He needs 1 more. I need higher on Jaden Reed, 15.5 receiving. And then I did higher on David Montgomery rushing yards. He needs like another 24 rushing yards. So basically, our key here is 1 good ball to Jaden Reed. David Montgomery takes over. We get a passing touchdown from Jared Goff, and then Jordan Love just doesn't see the field enough to throw. That's us hitting all these green lights here. So
those all seem like yellow lights to me, but okay.
It's not looking great. Not looking great. I had hope for the first slip. The first slip is definitely in dire straits. Second slip's a baby. So we'll see. We'll see. This is why we do like $5 to $10 backs, chat. This is
We're
not putting our mortgage on this shit because
nope.
It's
Do
Packers
not bet
football.
What you are not. Yeah. Do not bet what you are not ready to lose. Did you ever watch the Card Counter, Martin Scorsese flick with Oscar Isaacs and Tiffany Leach?
Mm-mm.
No, I wanted to see it when it came out. I didn't. I actually found it on one of the streaming services. Might have been Freevee. Last night and watched it a little bit late, and really good performance by Oscar Isaac. But he plays a former member of the military, spent some time in prison, and has developed a life as a card counter, as a gambler. But he talks about a lot of types of betting in the movie. He talks about sports betting. He's like, sports betting's just for fun unless you have inside information.
It's just to make the game more interesting. That's really what it's about.
He's like, nah, because he's talking about all these other games and odds and where your odds are and how you can increase them and whatever else. He's like, sports betting's just for fun unless you have inside information. I was like, oh.
The true sharks, the people that really consistently make, like, because again, you can do a parlay every now and then and maybe make some cash. Nothing major. And again, that's why I don't do crazy ass slips, right? Because it's for fun. I don't expect to make anything.
And the NFL is, as we said, we thought this was going to be a fairly square matchup. Like,
yeah,
things go off the rails very quickly.
The true sharps, though, are the ones that have like algorithms and like proprietary shit that they build that tries to find market inefficiencies between different books. Like that's how they make money. And it's a volume game for them, right? So it's like your average Joe is not going to beat it like they do. Like, they don't know anything about football. They're just looking at market inefficiencies.
Defensive breakdown for the Lions. Christian Watson gets a touchdown. How do you leave Christian Watson alone? Like,
somebody missed an assignment.
Oh, that is a bust. So, 12 plays, 86 yards. Give LaFleur his flowers. He deserves them. He's a great coach. He went in at halftime and said, okay, these are all the things we did wrong. We're going to right the wrongs. And they come out and they do it. Big throw from Love to convert to Dubs to keep the drive going.
Oh, man, the flat corner ran with the – so that's just a dragon concept. So you got to slant flat, and the corner that was outside just ran with the slant. It was supposed to exchange and pick up, and he just didn't.
Yep. Just drop the pickup. All right,
he's going to get chewed out for that one.
Okay. Jaden Reed.
Doesn't count for us, though, unfortunately, on 2-point.
No, but that looks more like the Packers football that we have seen for most of the year, which is odd that we didn't see it on the script. We didn't see it in the first 15 or 20 plays. They got their ass handed to them in the first half, and LaFleur, much to his credit, came out and said, all right, the way we're going to win this is chipping away. We're not going to get it all at once. We need one good one. Put me a drive together. I'll give you the plays. You got to execute. And he did, and they did. And that is a really, really encouraging sign for Green Bay fans that you can come out and get popped in the mouth in the first half, which is there's really no other way to describe the first half for them. And not lose your cool, come back, put a drive together, score against a defense that's been basically running you off the field. That's really good work.
Looks like an ankle for Branch.
That's kind of what it looked like to me, but I was with you that he was testing.
Did he roll it? I didn't see him roll it.
No, it looked like he tried to push off and it gave, but that doesn't have to be.
Be a very interesting mechanism for an ankle injury, not one that I'm from. I mean, I'm not a PT, right? So I don't know this shit, but
well, as somebody whose ankle is made out of titanium and tuna fish, I feel that.
Well, yeah, I can't recall last time I saw an ankle injury like that.
Oh, nice return. Good return by Reynolds. I'll give that. I really like Greg Reynolds. Good player.
He's just your classic solid number 4, you know?
Yeah.
Or number 3 for some teams.
Yeah, Deuce loved him. Like, before he went to Carolina, like, that was the whole reason that Reynolds is on the team is Deuce sort of picked him out of a lineup in training camp and was like, this kid can play. Had great preseasons. Really enjoy his game. Like him a lot.
But he's got special teams value. You know, if everybody else gets hurt, like, you're not dreading putting him in the game.
No, not at all. All right. Lions are going to try and grind them up a little bit here. Play keep away, which, you know,
they
when
should.
you're up by that many points.
Absolutely what they should do. Run the ball, go home.
Wise strategy. But they can't get too conservative. They can't be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and now we're going to have to punt.
If they can take up pretty much like this whole quarter and get a touchdown, game's over. Like, that's the priorities. Control clock, get touchdown. If they do that, I don't see them coming back in 15 minutes, right? So,
yeah, but plays like this, man, getting them out to the edge. The Green Bay has speed, and they're starting to understand. Quay Walker, again, he's had a good night. He's had a good season. He did not have a good season last year. He had a very bad season last year. And again, this is what the Packers do. They don't panic. They develop their players. They didn't give up and say, well, you suck. You had a terrible rookie season. They said, all right, we're here to fix some things. You got to work with us. Looks like he did, because he has rounded into form very nicely. And that's the other thing, is it takes Green Bay defenders a lot of times, 2 years.
Unfortunately. It took a lot longer for Devontae Wyatt than we thought it would, too, to kind of become Devontae Wyatt.
And Rashawn Gary was not amazing as a rookie. Quay Walker is the one we're talking about right now, but even this year's picks from, you know, the the other side of the line from Iowa, right? That we may not see anything from him like really good until he's had a couple flashes already, but he may really round into form in year 2. That's just kind of how they do it, and it's different than a lot of other teams, but it works for them and it keeps filling the pipeline. It's good work.
All right.
I'm just jealous. I wish my team could do it. And they clearly can't.
So they can make it a 1-possession game here if they can get a solid drive, get the 2-point, makes it 8 points. They have a shot. It's not a great shot, but they have a shot. But they have to go for 2, right? Because it's either you go for 1 and you're down by 9, which is useless, or you go for 2. Like, if you know you're going to have to go for 2 anyway, right?
Yeah. Are you throwing certain coaches' logic under the bus about?
Yeah. I know not every coach believes in math, but
just math, man, just math.
Because you're fighting the clock too. So basically, you have to do the math on like how many possessions do we think we're still going to get? 3 max, probably 2.
The algorithm changer in that particular category would be a quick strike to somebody like Watson.
If it's a quick one, then yeah, you kick it because you think you're going to get enough possessions where you could win on a field goal late. But if this is like a 7-minute slog of a drive, you go for 2.
Yeah, and even if you turn it into, even if it's just chunk play, right? 50, 60 yards, and you think, okay, we can turn this around pretty quickly, then that changes the math that you're talking about, fighting the clock and fighting the score.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately for them, the clock is the bigger threat right now. What is this commercial?
It's the new, Boys Junior Generation V.
Is it in the Boys universe?
Yes.
Interesting. And so these are after the current events of the Boys, I'm assuming?
I haven't checked into it. I just know that A, it's in the Boys universe, and B, it's coming out fairly soon. I saw the first ad for it a couple of days ago.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Good times.
The Boys is a great show, so I'm all about
it. I have a deep appreciation for the writers of The Boys because they will go there.
It's still in one of the greatest opening scenes of any TV show ever. So I would put that opening scene up against anything.
Did set the stage, didn't it?
It let you know what you were in for.
You're right. If you don't like this, you should leave now.
Yeah, it's like if you can't do the first 5 minutes of the show, you ain't doing anything else.
Whoa. That is a fumble. Backwards pass.
Yeah, that's a fumble. So they're gonna be backed up to the 18, which means they lost 12 yards on that. So it's gonna be second and 22.
They're starting the replay really late. Yeah, that is clearly a backwards pass.
No, 100% it's backwards.
That is a fumble. No, the motion on that was nuts. They started the replay really late, like after the motion had already crossed, but they had 2 crossers in front of the quarterback. A lot of traffic. That was a funky play design.
Brian Branch is coming back? They're taping him up. What? Really? What is this dude made of?
Oh,
that's awesome though. Love that.
Well, I'm just happy he can walk. I'm super happy he can walk. So we'll call that good. He's like, yeah, sit back up here, Brian.
But also at the same time, if you're up by this much, maybe don't risk it.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm just like,
just take the win that it's not devastating.
Yeah, get it.
You're doing okay. You're doing okay. Like I'm not. Oh, I don't like that risk. Like,
Well, they know a lot about it. We don't because they're there. And
I know.
and
I don't. I want young players to not get hurt. Is that too much to ask? Can we just turn off the injury
yes.
slider?
We wish that was a real feature. We really do. Yeah, they're highlighting Hutchinson all night. He had more success early. They're moving him around, which I appreciate from the Detroit side of the staff. Like, don't always put him in the same place. Don't make it super predictable. But he definitely started off the night with his hair on fire. He's cooled off a little bit. Doesn't mean he's done. Ooh, that was a pretty solid piece of contact. And is that cornerback Lucas, who we saw at the Shrine Bowl, who we really liked?
Lucas Patrick? Oh
Was
no,
it Josh, not Josh Lucas.
talking about the Arizona State kid, right?
Yeah.
What? I don't know why I said Lucas Patrick. I see
No.
green and gold and hear the name Lucas. That's where I went.
Don't do that.
Chase Lucas. That's what it was.
Chase Lucas. I was going
Right?
to say Josh, but that's not right. Yeah,
I knew
you're
Arizona
absolutely
State. I knew Arizona State, but not.
Yeah,
name.
we ended up watching him watch the championship game,
Yeah.
which was a ton of fun.
Along with Jack Jones
Yep.
and all the other DBs.
All the other DBs in the room. That was a fascinating watch session, watching guys that were about to be professional athletes, watching guys at the highest level play. Very instructive. I would say a highly enjoyable 40 minutes. We didn't get any interview footage and we didn't care because they were all invested, chirping back and forth with each other, talking about the players they knew who were in that game, who they'd played with, who they were related to. It was something else.
Yeah, all these different cousins of other NFL players that you're not aware that they're all related to each other, and you're like, what? What?
Yeah. Huh?
It's like the friggin' SEC cinematic universe all converging.
Yeah, a little bit.
This game has been a commercial simulator this half. Well, so something that you guys need to know about commercial breaks. There's a certain number, at least when I was in TV, there's a certain number that a certain number of commercial breaks they have to take contractually, like per half. And so you typically see, especially in the first half of games, it's always just a flurry of commercial breaks in the first half because they don't know how long the drives are going to take. And if you get like a 10-minute drive with no penalties and no break and no injuries, it could potentially like really screw your math in terms of how many breaks you have to take contractually, right? Because of the network deals and because of the advertising deals and everything like that. Yeah. So they'll take whatever opportunity they can get in the first quarter of each half to just jam in commercial breaks because they don't know how long the drives are going to take in the next quarter. So that's why they do that. And that's why typically in the fourth quarter and especially in the second quarter leading into halftime, when people take timeouts and they're driving and everything like that, they won't go to commercial and they'll just vamp or do analysis or something like that. It's because they already got all the commercial breaks out of the way. They did their contractual obligations. You just watch the game, right? The league would rather front load it.
I'm going to do something we haven't done in the past and nominate a comment of the night.
What's that?
Psyduck said, "It's never a good sign when a guy in a balaclava starts talking about not wanting to get anybody hurt."
Just your wholesome bank robber, that's all.
I'm sorry. That is a great comment. Awesome work, Psyduck. Keep it coming. Yeah, that was great.
What is the score? Why not have it posted on the screen? Well, they were in commercial break, and so when they come back and the score bug is back on screen, you will see the score bug.
There you go. The Christian Gonzalez, David Blau being brother-in-laws caught me off guard. Yes, I can understand that.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
There's a cool clip of them like watching on the TV during training camp.
Yeah. You can't possibly keep track of them all. It's not possible. There are people that keep track of them better than we do by far, for sure. But even those people, we occasionally catch them and like, did you know he was related to? And they're like, no, I actually didn't. All right,
Next
Lions got to
Thursday
put something
game
together.
is Commanders Bears. Is that next Thursday? Oh, EJ.
Is it? What's the Monday night game?
Oh God, I hope it's not Commanders Bears next week. I don't have enough booze for that, and I say that with a full cabinet behind me.
Yeah, I know exactly how much booze is in that cabinet, which is frightening.
Can we get an actual Scorebug icon? Like something that updates in real time? I don't have anything like that.
We don't have the link, yeah.
Because it has to get connected to, again, I'm just going off of from when I was in TV. If I recall correctly, the Scorebug for like TVs is connected into the clock operators in the stadiums themselves, and then like real-time stats go through a service called GSIS, which we called Jesus when I was in TV. So anything that's like updated in real time, if I'm going to do something like that, I basically have to have a dedicated producer that is like running a clock manually, or B, it has to be hooked into like the stadium clock operator, right? Which obviously I can't do. So,
which, if we were officially linked to Amazon, would be possible.
Theoretically, maybe, but it would have,
Theoretically, we could do it, but we're not. So until then, which, hey, you never know. Until then, we're gonna have a little cutout, and it's gonna work as well as it can.
It's basically the only thing that we can do that's low lift, so that we don't have to manually do it.
All right. Second 5. Lions got to get this going. They can't afford to just have this. Oh, no. They certainly cannot afford to do that.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge sack. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 billion.
Yeah, that they needed something besides that. This is Carl Brooks, the rookie from Bowling Green.
We do love Carl Brooks. We do love him.
He gets loose, and he's just charging at that point. It's been a bit like coverage in the secondary. It's tight. He had an underneath guy on. They've got 2 guys on St. Brown right there, basically. Goff sees it. He eats it. It's better than throwing an interception. Now they're going to
better than throwing a pick.
Don't love that.
So next two TNF games for our viewing pleasure, EJ. It's Bears at Commies and then Broncos at Chiefs. So,
wow.
It's going to be an interesting October. And by interesting, I mean depressing as all hell. We get Jags Saints after that, which should be fun. And then we get Bucks Bills, which...
It could be fun, depending on how things develop.
Titans Steelers, so the death of Ryan Tannehill on national television. Oh, God, Panthers Bears. Why? Why are the Bears on TNF so much?
Well, there was hope at one point, and that point was only 3 weeks ago. But there is no hope now. There is very, very little hope, and yes, you are going to be subjected to seeing that flaming trash heap more than you would like.
Bengals Ravens after that, which I'm cool with.
Yep.
Dolphins Jets, which looked great a month ago, but now that's gonna be. Seahawks Cowboys, that's good.
Now, hang with me here. If they make a move at the trade deadline for an interesting quarterback,
Kirk,
the Jets, that is, I'm just saying, anybody with potential, that could be a fun game.
Patriots Steelers should be interesting. Chargers Raiders is always interesting. Another Saints game, this one at the Rams at SoFi.
If it's Chargers Raiders and it's AOC versus Justin,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, that'll be a fun game.
And then another Jets game, Jets at Browns, where they will actually score 0 points. So
that's rough.
Not a terrific TNF slate. Unintentionally bad. Like, before the season, this looked totally fine. A month into it, we're like, dear God, do anything else.
Yeah. Jaden Norris says in the chat, EJ, sorry about the game on Sunday. How are you holding up? We knew that game was going to go pretty much that way. So I had sort of divorced myself of all existential pain from that. Like, it was one of the reasons I actually went to the Seahawks game. I didn't plan on going to the Seahawks game. It actually worked out that I was joking with my friend about that, and he was like, "Oh, well, are you going to come to the Panthers?" I was like, "Well, it would be a reason for me not to have to watch the Chiefs just completely eviscerate the Bears on TV." And we just kind of left it at that. And then we met up Saturday night to go out and grab some beers, and he's like, "You're coming tomorrow, right?" I was like, he's like, "I bought you a ticket." I was like, okay, I guess I'm going. And it was a nice distraction. It was fun to see a lot of the really good players on the Panthers. It was cool to see, again, Clint Hurt dial up some really cool blitzes, pass rushers for the Seahawks go off. Kenneth Walker had a great, Colby Parkinson had a great game. That was super fun. And it is a loud stadium. Like, it is always loud. It is just degrees of loud. And when the Panthers started to crack in the second half, the crowd just ate them. Like, the crowd took it upon themselves, and a lot of times they replay big plays in a stadium. Like, every stadium I've been to replays big plays. When you're at Lumen Field and the opponents take a false start, they replay it.
They want to get them juiced up
with a decibel meter. So the 12s get pretty into it, and they take their participation very seriously. It was fun games. Great time hanging out with guys from big shout out to the guys in the Seahawkers pod, Adam and Brandon, Clinton, all those guys. Super cool to hang out with them and some of their patrons. Really, really enjoyable time. So I didn't have to watch the Bears get thrashed. I watched it on replay early Monday morning. It was about as expected. So I'm good. One of the parts about this gig that is very positive for me is that covering the whole league, I get to be more objective about my own team. My happiness is not completely linked to how the Bears do or don't do. And that's a good thing. That's better for me. I'm not telling you how to fan. I will never tell you how to fan. Big shot. Whoa!
You're definitely a few seconds ahead of me. Did we hit our Jaden Reed big ball?
We got a Jaden Reed.
We'll take it.
That is what he's been doing for them. Again, not necessarily as often as Marvin Mims has been doing it for the Broncos, but he has that ability. Plus, he has the punt return ability, just like Marvin Mims. So those two guys were two guys that I basically had linked in my draft ranks. That, like, I was just trying to figure it out. I ended up with Mims slightly ahead of Reed, but I liked them both and thought they were both really good values. And both of those receivers have paid it off for their respective teams, but man, the Packers needed that. Like, they needed to break open a big play. We said earlier that a Christian Watson play, big chunk play changes the math about the clock. Well, so does a deep ball like that to Jaden Reed.
EJ, I watched this is from Andrew Stanley, by the way. EJ, I watched the entire preseason podcast slate. I've made my own contract for my own hair. Please shave the mohawk.
Oh, man. This is a fun fact. I do not look very good with a mohawk. When I had ankle surgery and I knew I was going to be out of work, it was spring going into summertime, and I was going to be like off my foot for a while, which meant I was going to be out of work. This is before remote work was a common thing. And so I was like, what the hell? Like, I went out in the yard and sat on a chair and had my wife shave a mohawk. I was like, I won't have to really deal with it because I'm not going to be able to shower, for the first till the stitches heal, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, yeah, why not? Be cooler, like whatever. No,
Not your thing.
It's not great. Like, I was excited about it. I was like, this is fun. I get to have a mohawk. Like, I'm super psyched. And I went with a slightly wider mohawk, but like, no, it just looked like, hey, who screwed your hair up? Like, it was not at all a fashion statement. It was more just like, oh, well, that's low maintenance, which it was. But I have not repeated the experiment ever, and that was almost 2 decades ago now. So no, don't look great with Mohawk.
Chat saying that they maybe got away with not getting that playoff in time to Jaden Reed. I personally was not looking at the clock.
Wait. You're saying that Green Bay doesn't get called for all the penalties it commits at Lambeau? Hold on.
Spoken like a Bears fan.
Really? This is spoken like a guy that's watched David Bakhtiari absolutely mug people for like 5 years. And of course, offensive linemen will say, that's not holding.
Yeah, don't test the O-line mafia on Twitter. They'll come after
I know
you.
the O-line, that's not holding mafia is very, very strong, and I would not go against them. But some of those things are. And everybody, the NFL loves to say, oh, the on-screen clock for play clock is not the actual official play clock. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers routinely went like 1.5 seconds past that and didn't get a flag, it's because that's not an official clock, right?
Sure.
That happened all the freaking time with Rodgers. It was 4 or 5 times a game. It was maddening. So yeah, this is my shocked face.
Ooh, I think he was out of bounds.
Not shocked.
Yep.
But Jaden Reed putting pressure. He gets 1, but not 2.
My friend likes the Vikings. I like the Bears. Do either of us have hope?
I mean, if you're a Vikings fan,
look at me.
I don't know.
Look at me. Okay. Look deep into my eyes. Look deep into my eye holes. No.
I was waiting for that. Oh, he did it. He did it. We got a game. You remember?
And it's not a pass. It's not a pass attempt, so I'm good with that.
Right.
I need him to not throw any more passes.
Right. There's that. You remember when I said we were going to figure out some things about Jordan Love as a young quarterback who had not experienced that kind of adversity? He has responded very solidly. If I was a Green Bay fan, I'd be quite pleased about how my young quarterback had come back and played in the second half. Like, he's put it together. This is a very good performance.
All right. This is all the green lights we got to hit, EJ. I need David Montgomery to get every single carry, drain 12 minutes off this clock, and then Jared Goff to throw a touchdown.
Oh, okay. Like, maybe. AZ Aussie, I assume. AZ AUS. Do you guys like the DT from Illinois? I know he's talking about Jerson Newton, and yes.
Johnny Newton.
I liked him last year. Yes, I still like him this year. Yes, I do. He's gonna be a super fun player. Now that ball is down before you break the plane. You do not get those points. Ooh, he got mugged too. Hutchinson freaking. Oh yeah, knees are on the ground. He's a yard short. Like,
that's like a Renaissance painting.
Oh, it's not. It's Comiskey. Woohoo! I thought it was Aiden. That's Comiskey. That's a great play by him. Great effort by Love to try and stretch that ball as he was getting bent over backwards, but a little late. Didn't get it. Oh yeah, look at that. They didn't get the playoff. How strange.
Fun fact. Interesting.
Yeah, major play that turned a drive into an actual momentum giving thing that led to points. And yeah, no, of course, yeah, that's cool.
just Packer things. That's all.
I've just seen it for so long. And look, people go, "Oh, you're a Bears fan, you don't like it." Like, I get it. Every sport has the Jordan rules, right? I was a huge basketball fan when Michael Jordan was in his prime, and yeah, he got calls that nobody else got, because he was Michael freaking Jordan. And
this is Jordan freaking Love. Jordan rules, baby.
A different Jordan rule. But no, Aaron got him for years because, look, Aaron Rodgers, one of the very best quarterbacks in the NFL. He is a Hall of Fame quarterback, no question. He got calls. He got calls left and right. If you went near him, if you sniffed on him, like, and didn't, do it into your elbow, like, that's 15 yards. Like, he got calls. And I get it. Every single sport has that. Baseball's got strike zones that are much more favorable for the best hitters. I understand that.
Well, that's why I think every game should be called by Angel Hernandez so that everything is equally shitty.
Oh, boy. Well, NFL had one of those, too.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. No, Detroit, again, now it's a 10-point game. They got a full quarter here. It's back on. You cannot have 3-and-out drives. You got to find that form that you had early in the first half that kept drives going, that looked really good, that pushed the Packers. Like, you cannot sit back here. They will beat you at their house. So Goff and the Lions have to find that form. They got to, go to their playmakers. They got to get the ball in Amon-Ra St. Brown's hands. There you go. There's first down. Like, got to churn those out. Clock is important, but you got to make some yards at this point. You got to get first downs. You got to show them that 3-and-out is not the gig, because at 10 points with 15 minutes to go, you might as well call that 0-0. It is not any kind of cushion that you can lean on.
I love how chat's just naming different refs.
Oh, yeah,
that
right.
They think we're the worst, and everybody's got their own.
Everybody's got the one that screwed their team.
Who was the one that God, the fucking hip thrust in that Bears game with
to the USC kid.
Ah, shit. Who was that?
I know the
and
one
then he
you're
retired
talking
the year at quote unquote
Yeah,
retired the
like,
year after.
You don't get to like make stuff up that moves games like that.
Woo, David Montgomery. Let's go.
Yeah.
God, who was that? And his name started with a C.
Correnti?
Fucking Tony Correnti.
Yep. So when did the Bears call up Jeff Saturday? Fantastic tank commander, sort of O-line, and beat only Josh McDaniels. Please know, like, nice gallop. The Bears ownership are many things, but they are not. Wow, I need to be super careful.
Also, if they were gonna call up any former offensive lineman for the team to be their head coach, it'd be Olin.
Yeah.
It would be too.
I know it's already been suggested.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah.
No,
I'm in a lot of Bears chats, so there's been a lot of things bandied about at this point. I like what the Lions are doing in terms of finding that offensive success they had earlier. Tried to run through the middle there. It didn't work. Somebody asked earlier if Van Ness had even played. He was in on that play. He was in on that tackle. He's played some. Has he had a lot of impact? He's not, obviously. But, again, we said Packers rookies tend to, for the most part, not come blazing out of the gate and then look better in year 2 or sometimes even year 3. It just seems to be how that development curve works. They do it with quarterbacks. They do it with defensive linemen, linebackers. Like Jair was really good as a rookie. Savage looked actually better as a rookie than he did as a second-year player. So I guess that's, evidence against. Oh, another first down. Good on the Lions for going back to basics here, leaning on that very young, very powerful offensive line and just saying, hey, we're going to make it so you have to keep us from getting first downs on the ground. Can you do it?
And it was a short yardage carry with Gibbs, something that they haven't had a whole lot of success with so far. But
I was going to say slightly against tendency, which is fun.
Yeah. They normally don't do that. So it's nice. A, it's nice to see him call it. And B, it's nice to see it be successful.
Yeah, it was either Kenny Clark or TJ Slayton that absolutely swam through there on that play. But did he catch it? Yeah. Wow. I got to give some credit to Josh Reynolds here. Like, I joked about how slow he looked, and I swear to God he hurt us because he has rebounded. And I really liked Josh Reynolds when he was coming out for what he was, third, fourth round receiver that I thought was going to be more productive than his draft status. He had a very good start to his career, sort of Sloughed off a little bit in the middle, but not very much. And he has rounded back into form as one of Jared Goff's favorite targets. And that was a hell of a
That's
catch.
a great catch. I mean, basically, it's a basket catch while diving and rolling to the side. That's tough.
I know. And ever since I said he looked really slow in the first game, he's had better results every week. And he looks
David.
more like the Josh Reynolds of old. And he's been, again, he's a guy they're counting on with Jameson Williams out of the lineup. Very possibly the guy that gets bumped when Jameson Williams comes back, from suspension. And we'll see. But boy, he has been a cog for them.
David Montgomery looks like he never even got hurt. He looks fantastic in this game.
He just got pasted, but that wasn't his fault.
Just from a movement skill, like just his feet look great. He looks bursty.
Yep.
Like you never even knew he got hurt.
Yeah, guys are coming back faster and faster from ACLs. It used to be if you were anything under a year, it was amazing, and then it was 9 months, and now we see guys like
He
running
tore his
and cutting
ACL?
6 months.
I thought he had
I'm
like
not sure.
I thought he had like a quad strain or something like that, like for a couple
Oh.
weeks. Did he tear his ACL?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I love how they're not laying off though. Like it is run to the left, run to the right, run inside, switch from, Gibbs to Montgomery and back again. Like we're not gonna like switch to the big play action shot right here. We're gonna make sure you have to pack it in. We're gonna grind clock. We're still gonna be effective because our offensive line is damn good. Like we have invested a lot in having a good offensive line. We're gonna show you that. Like this is straight up we dare you stuff.
Well, when you have an offensive line that averages like 320 pounds, you can do this kind of shit.
Oh, they're leaning on him right now. Make no
Fourth and
mistake.
3, going for it. This is a fuck you play call if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, they're not going to go.
Are they
gonna call
trying to draw
timeout.
it?
Yeah, they're gonna call timeout, look for kick, maybe. Yeah, they're gonna pull out the kicker, which I'm fine with.
Or the try.
They ground a bunch of time and smacked him in the mouth and said we can move the ball.
PPR, start Cortland Sutton or Garrett Wilson.
PPR start Cortland Sutton or Garrett Wilson. I would
Ooh,
say
it's not-
Cortland.
It's not Cortland anymore.
So I was looking that up. Are we sure that he changed his name to Cohen Sutton? Because there is a Cohen Sutton at Appalachian State.
Yeah, but it's listed in like multiple places, which is the thing that got me.
Hold on. Let me look at the team website. They would know.
Yeah. When I went to like our lad still says Cortland, which is odd. Because
So the Broncos website says Cortland.
okay. Because I was on.
Because I know there is a Cohen Sutton at App State.
No, but I was. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that it was a goof, but it's like been a goof for 3 weeks. So at what point is it not a goof anymore? Yeah, if you go to like the. Hang on. Oh, now it's back. All right, I guess it's Cortland. God, I'm so sick of wide receivers changing their names. Like,
Well, that's the thing.
I am
I'm not
tired.
sure. I'm not sure he did change it.
I
I
know,
think somebody goofed somewhere.
but it was persistent for like 3 weeks because I saw it in week 1 and I was like, I didn't hear about this one. How did I miss this? And like, I was the same as you. I was like, I'll wait till week 2. Waited till week 2. Still said Cohen. Waited till week 3. Still said Cohen. Now I go back to like Google NFL schedule, go to player stats, and now it says Cortland. I'm like, of course it does. Because, several hundred people are watching us, and that's why.
I started Gibbs over Monty today, so I hate myself. First of all, we told you months ago how this situation was going to go. We told you Montgomery's getting red zone work. We tried to warn you.
Yeah, it's true.
We're not right about everything. We're not even right about most things. But boy, are we right when it comes to Dave Montgomery. That's the only thing we know anything about is Dave Montgomery.
I don't know. I just gotta. DM from somebody I was talking to about Witherspoon, because like Devin Witherspoon, it was my first chance seeing him live in a game situation. We saw him at camp, but he was omnipresent in that game. He was everywhere messing stuff up. He looked great. He looked just like his college film. And whenever that happens, when a guy moves from college to the pros and his film looks the same, whether it's Bijan or Devin Witherspoon, like it's so impressive that you've made a huge jump in competition and you're making the same type of plays the same way. And so he, this analyst put out a tweet about Devin Witherspoon, like one play. And I said, hey man, I was at that game and he just wrecked shop. He was amazing. So he just DM'd me back and said, yep, dude can ball. I was like, yes, dude can ball 100%. So we got that one right too.
We got a flag here. I didn't see for what. Dan Campbell looks mad about something.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on one Quay Walker.
Why does he keep doing that? Like this is like
is
the
this
fourth
the
time
jump
that's
to center
happened.
thing? Oh, this is the jump to center thing. This is not.
Oh, that's not okay. That's not the normal Quay Walker unsportsmanlike that we're used to.
He just mistimed it. He just mistimed it. Nothing intentionally awful about that.
Yeah. If he cleared him, they wouldn't have called it. But you have to clear him. You have to not touch his back.
Yeah. So, all right. Goff here. First and goal. So the penalty gives him new set of downs. That's a big penalty. I would be upset if I was Dan Campbell too, because you just gave the Lions the golden ticket to basically put you away. If they score a touchdown here, and it will be, by the time they're all said and done, it will probably be under 7 minutes left to play.
I'm good with that. Again, just keep keep taking the ball away from, because I need him to not throw. So
I understand, good. But if I'm Campbell, I am pissed because
you mean
not
LaFleur?
Campbell. Yeah, LaFleur. Sorry, I keep saying Campbell. If I'm LaFleur, I'm like, come on. Without this, we had them, right? They kick a field goal, which isn't great for us, but this is worse because they can still kick a field goal and grind more time off the clock. So what are you doing, man? Do you really think you're going to block the field goal? I mean, I love the spirit, but you got caught and they get 4 more downs right on the doorstep.
It basically means you go from a 10-point game that would have been a 13-point game. So it's like, okay, we still got to get 2 touchdowns anyway, to now potentially a 10-point game that could be a 17-point game, which makes it from a 2-score to a 3-score. So it's just not worth the risk in that situation.
Yeah. And I think that's, young player is tough, but that's pretty much what you're saying to him is, hey, I love the effort, but you just put us in a worse spot.
Because at this point, it's about number of possessions, not number of points. And
it's 4th and goal from
this weekend.
4th and goal from the 2. What do you do here? I mean, you got
I'd
that
put him away.
line.
Fuck it. Make him drive 99 yards if we don't get it.
Tush push?
Put him away. Yeah. No, not even tush push. I just run it with Monty. Tush push works when your quarterback can squat 500 pounds. But I would just run it with Monty. Put him away. End the game right now. Like, they can't do shit.
They're about to do it.
CJ or Joe Burrow this weekend?
You got your wish.
I'd go Burrow. Man, look at that. That looks like Stanford. And he's in. 3 touchdowns for Monty. Let's fucking go. Happy that I started him all my leagues. Happy that I drafted him in all my leagues. I hope you guys drafted him in all your leagues.
Yeah, I hope
wink,
you
wink,
listened.
nudge, nudge.
I hope you listened. But look at this offensive line. This is a show place. Look at the hole. Just hit that with power downhill. Like, great job by the offensive line to open the hole. Great job by Montgomery to just not get cute, hit it with power, get your head down, and that might be it. They got 6 minutes left. Yeah, 34-17. You're gonna need a miracle.
So let's
Boy.
see.
I bet Marcus is losing his mind about Coy Walker right now.
He despises Quay Walker with every fiber of
I
his
know.
being.
I
That's like his
know, I
least
know.
favorite person on planet Earth.
Yep, pretty much. Oh.
For God's sake, I left Montgomery on my bench in a one running back league. Oh no. Excuse me while I go drink heavily.
Oh yeah. Ay. I would not feel great about that.
Oh,
There's no-
you poor bastard. I'm sorry.
There's just no sugarcoating that. I would not feel great about that.
That's a rough one. That might be the roughest one of the day.
However, great name, the Shawshank Inception. I love it. I love it. Did you answer the CJ or Joe Burrow this weekend from Alex?
Yeah, I would go Burrow. I think Stroud's gonna die. Like against TJ and Keanu and Highsmith, backup offensive line. Like I love Stroud. He's playing out of his mind, but you can't throw it if you're on the ground. I don't know. I don't get good vibes about this one.
Okay.
If Stroud survives this game and
Yep.
puts up even halfway decent numbers, I'm so all the way in. Like you have no idea.
You're already all the way
I
in.
am all
Don't
the way
give
in,
us
but
that.
like
you're so hooked.
I'm
You're
buying a
just
jersey.
"Ah."
Like if he wins this game, I'm buying a jersey tomorrow.
Okay.
Or Monday, I guess it would be.
By the way, I've seen many compliments for your Seahawks jersey, your throwback. I am still very strongly considering Doug Baldwin throwback.
I would do either Doug Baldwin or Walter. One of those two.
Yeah, I saw actually Walter throwbacks at the game. They're tremendous, and you can't go wrong with Big Walt. Absolutely not. But yeah, I have a deep love of Doug Baldwin's like career path, his game, his story, even what he's done after his time in the league. I really appreciate Doug Baldwin.
One of my favorite receivers of his generation.
Yeah.
Especially when he would get angry. Like angry Doug Baldwin was unstoppable.
Angry
Like,
Doug?
if you pissed off Doug Baldwin, good luck.
Yeah.
Him
for
and Steve Smith were both just
Yeah.
stay away. Let them do their thing.
Don't poke the bear.
It's like they're going to get 100 yards anyway, but don't make it 200.
Yeah. Don't poke the bear.
Brett, worth waiting for the new jerseys next year? Oh, that's a good point. I forgot they're getting new jerseys next year. The Texans are.
Who? Texans?
Yeah. Have we
Huh.
seen images of what those are yet, by the way? I don't think we
I
have.
didn't even know that was a thing, so I have not yet.
I knew they were getting them. I don't think we've seen any sort of concept or...
All right, let's go. See, this is what I like about Dan Campbell teams is you basically you go up by a semi-comfortable margin with like 6 minutes to go, and he's like, first guy to get a special teams tackle, I'm buying a steak, right? Like everybody's like all in all phases, and I really appreciate that about Campbell coach teams.
First new Texans jerseys in 2 decades. They did what? So when the new Nike deal happened, I think they did like a refresh, but they barely changed anything, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. That entire series of refresh, like half the teams did something noticeable and half the teams went like, oh, we changed the tail on the font.
Yeah, it's like they did like a change in thickness on the collar. Like, it was not really anything.
Okay, I gotta say I've liked what I've seen from Jordan Love a lot better in the second half, and that's after he had his worst half of his young career for sure.
Another
He has come out calm, cool, and collected and hit throws when he needed to. He's going to do it. Oh, no.
No images yet, just the marketing SVP confirming that it would include Love You Blue. As in that shade of blue?
Or the... Interesting. That would be amazing. I might buy...
Just
there's a lot of players on the Texans I like. I might buy one of those if they go back to the powder blue.
as in we're fighting against the Titans with fire. Like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna wear that shit against us?
These are gonna be our
It's
these
like,
are gonna be our homes, by the way.
we're gonna wear them every week, motherfucker. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. You can have them 1 week a year.
Do you
That's
think
it.
it's time to hit the
That would be
panic button
impressive.
on Sam Howell?
So I went to my first JV football game in a long time on Wednesday, and I was walking towards the field and I was like, why is everybody in darks? And then I was like, as I got closer, there was like the mismatched pants
Yeah.
from 3 years ago and like different jerseys within series on each team. And like one team was wearing black and one team was wearing dark purple. And I'm like, it's because that's what they have.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing the dark and light thing for JV here. Like, we're doing like whatever they have. But I gotta say, it was a lot of fun. Rained a little bit. It's Samori Toure with a big catch down the boundary.
Really nice ball from Love too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Again,
Jordan Love's showing.
Not
That's-
on platform,
wow.
not on platform, and still dropped it in there.
Well, that's a 50-50 ball, but Toure pays it off. That's really impressive. Like, that could have just as easily been an interception, but great job by the receiver to say, hey, when I get another one of those, throw it to me because I'll show you. Oh, Brian Branch is down again. Get him out of the game. It's not worth it.
This is what it's 6 minutes to go
I
and you're
know.
up by 17. What the fuck are we
I
doing
know.
here?
Like, get that guy in the tub right now. He can't push off it.
Bit of a long shot,
He can't
but if
push
I can
off
get
it.
14
Like,
more yards
that might have
from
been it.
Laporta
Come
and 6
on.
more for Monty,
Can
I
we
got
not do this?
$55 coming on $5
I wish we
later
could not
when
do
Packers
this. I'm
scored
feeling
quick.
pretty sad about it, as a matter of fact. That's brutal.
Bit of a long shot, but if I can get 14 more yards from Laporta and 6 more for Monty, I got $55 coming on $5. Here's to hoping the Packers score quick.
He's like, get it back in the Lions' hands. The Laporta piece is going to be tough.
Well, I think
Eh,
I
eh,
just
you know-
hit the over on Brian Branch, so I just need 3 more receptions from Amon-Ra, and I'm good to go for
Yeah.
tonight.
How Lazarus is that, right? He gets carted off, and you're like, well, he's not getting more tackles. And you're like, is that Brian Branch's music?
The glass shattering.
I need Dallas to do a jersey refresh.
He's
because it's been
back.
for like 20 years.
Oh, man. He heard you needed tackles, Brett. He came back. He's like, man, come on. Coleman's counting on me. I gotta go back out there.
As God is my witness, Samori Toure is broken in half.
I need Dallas to do a jersey refresh. Been like the same for like 20 years. Storm, DD. We'll tell them when we're down there. We'll stop by the pro shop and tell them that you said that their iconic America's brand is no longer fresh and they need to fix it. We'll see what they say. We'll let you know.
We'll just tell them no more seafoam pants. That's all. That's we can get rid of the seafoam. It's time to get rid of the seafoam. Come on now.
All right. So, speaking of, interesting question since we've got an ad at the moment. Favorite uniform or jersey color combination, whatever, take it however you want, that did not return this year that you were very pleased about? What's your top spot there?
That did not return.
Yeah, that basically got retired, like is not
So-
in circulation.
The Jags gradient helmet was horrible.
Oh,
And the Buck. This was a few years ago. At this point, the Bucks clock numbers were the worst shit I've ever seen on an NFL jersey. It looked like a Arena League jersey. It was terrible. It was the worst jersey in the NFL. So
okay, for me, it's the Rams bone colored.
yeah, they
Jersey.
stopped using those pretty quick.
Kind of off-white tans. They still used them last year. Like this year, they were like, "Oh no, because we have the alternate helmets, we can't." Because you can only have so many combinations, so a lot of teams had to retire one. Some Seahawks fans were both dreading or hoping that it would be action green, depending on where you fall on that scale. But for me, it was the Rams bone-colored
Oh,
jerseys. Yep.
Jordan.
I was not spoiling that for you. I know I was ahead of your feed, so I was like, for once, I'm gonna be quiet.
Jordan, buddy.
That is a backbreaker. He's played so freaking well.
All right,
in the
let's
second
see
half.
the coverage here. Let's see the coverage here.
No, that's just miscommunication. You saw his receiver jumping up and down. His receiver broke that off and went to the corner. Look at him. Josh is like, no, I'm breaking that to go deep. You got to throw it to me. We'll see.
It's
who was
one of
right
those where it's
later.
like, if it's not there on the first break, I'm gonna break back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
because
deep.
if I have the safety sitting inside who's gonna nail down, don't bother throwing it to me. I'll wheel back around where I can get leverage on it. So it's like either you throw it to me on the break or I'm going.
Or yeah, and they didn't
And
read it the
he
same
threw
way.
it to him late.
And you're gonna get that with a young quarterback getting that communication. We talk about all the time, communication and chemistry with your wide receivers. If you don't have time during camp, if you, if your receivers aren't there, or you miss time because of an injury, like that's what we're talking about. Like that right there, that like, hey, if I don't do this, I'm doing this. What are you doing? I told you I was going to do the other thing, and you did the thing late. Montgomery comes out, gets a first down, does run out of bounds, but he gets a first down. So I'm kind of okay with it because basically it gives you 4 more downs to grind clock. So I don't really care that you went out of bounds. Yeah, I'd prefer you stay in bounds, but you got the first, so you're off the hook.
That's a really nifty way to beat a vice call on a number 2, by the way, is to have when the safety nails down on it, to then just fucking break. Like that's a really interesting adjustment on the route, and they just
And you can tell that like he held there for a second. He was like, nope, got coverage. I'm gonna wheel out of this. And
that's the kind of shit that Rodgers and Devontae used to do, where it's like, hey, if you get this, go, And
so really interesting thing from last weekend is because of who was mic'd up around the NFL, we got 2 instances where a receiver ran quote unquote the wrong route and ended up in one case with a massive gain and in the other case with a touchdown. One was Travis Kelce. That was a touchdown where he's supposed to run a corner route. He just broke it back off to the inside. Mahomes anticipated, oh yeah, he's not running the corner. He's going to break it off and just throws it to him. Like, for all this, like Andy Reid's a brilliant play call. Like maybe, but they're not even running the stuff he calls. They're just out there like playgrounding it, and they happen to be 2 of the best ever. And what are you going to say as Andy Reid? Like, I don't like the touchdown, give it back. Like, no, like you're going to take it. And the other one was Tyreek Hill with Tua runs the wrong route, sort of hitches up in the middle of it, and then takes off on his giddy up, gets like a 54-yard gain. Because same thing, Tua's like, okay, I know he's going to be faster to the corner. I'm just going to whip it up there. After he kind of like throttles down in the middle, everybody's like, what is he doing? And then he just takes off. So really interesting that because of those, because we have the audio, we know that that is not what was called, and those players made it work.
Flex, Pierce, London, Zay. Thanks from near Woodinville. Hello. Oh, one of my favorite places on planet Earth. I would say.
I'm gonna say
which are we Alec Pierce or Damian Pierce?
Oh, that's a really good question. I was assuming Alec. If it's
I'm not doing Zay against Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't want to, but he is the one guy that they've shown the ability to get the ball to, and even if it's late and garbage, like London has just been used in this weird ass like Atlanta only screen capacity. Like they just refuse to throw him the ball down the field, which is really strange given his skill set. Anyways, depends on which
Damian.
I guess. Damian? I'd probably go Damian. They're gonna grind it up.
I don't love any of them.
No, I do not, and that's why it makes it a good question. So. Excellent question, Braun.
I guess out of those, I would go Damian too, but I don't love any of them.
No, it's going to be a tough challenge for Zay, but
I big return.
I really feel like Zay is one of those guys that can pay it off, even as a rookie. I know that's a huge statement, but I think he can. Upcoming schedule.
There was a super chat earlier that said, is it time to panic about Sam Howell? I apologize for missing that one earlier. For me, no, I'm not panicking about Sam Howell. Again, Bill's defense is crazy good. Like, let's
Yeah,
not.
like one of the best he'll face all year.
Yeah. So, again, give us some time. Give us some time.
Uh-oh. Did he not get him? He got him. Finally. Yoish. Okay. Comiskey paid it off. That was Hutchison's sack left and right. He didn't get him down. Comiskey pays it off. Nice combo rush by the Lions. Tough sack to take, as Jordan's got to get rid of that ball. He had the chance.
That's been honestly my only real problem. I mean, he had some shaky ball placement earlier, but my only real problem with him tonight was just get it out quicker. You know, like your offensive line's not holding up.
Dubs gets another 0.75 yards of yak. I swear to God, man. That is his MO. Like, throw to him at the sidelines, he tiptoes 2 steps and gets knocked out.
Hey, man,
like,
but if you're getting 11 catches or whatever he's up to,
no, that
up.
is literally, like, that's the sneaky bet. You're like, man, Dubs getting all these catches, and you're like, yeah, but he gets, like, 0 yak. He get hit in the back, he drops. Sideline, on the out, gets pushed out. Like, he gets a half a yard yak every time.
He has 7 catches for 24 yards after the catch right now.
I'm telling you, man. Like,
man.
that's actually more than I thought. So, you know, all right. Jordan Love dirt balls one. They gonna punt it?
I mean, you're down 17. Just get out of here, man.
Yeah, you're just gonna punt it.
Just get out of here. You lost.
All right.
It's fine.
So I gotta say, you know, week 1 we saw the Lions fans travel, and it was, you know, impressive. Like, this is a different year for the Lions fans. I think the Lions was like the first video we had this summer when we did the summer preview series. It went over like 40,000, and it was early because we started up there, and it was only like the second or third video we did, and it went to like 40,000 within like a couple of weeks. It was like,
They're ravenous, man. They're ravenous.
What's going on? And then we saw them travel at, you know, week 1. They basically packed a stadium and were like, hey, we're here. We're loud. We are ready. You know, I have not seen this many Lions fans in a Lambeau game in a long, long time. It is different in Detroit.
Well,
right
I mean,
now.
they do win here often, so
it's true.
they got
fans
statistically, they have better odds of seeing a Lions win in Lambeau than they do in Detroit.
It's true, but they have not traveled in force to Lambeau in a long time. They have not been near that confident. This year, like, I'm sure every ticket that was available to them, they have been just on the hunt. They are fully believing. The Lions hype is higher than I've ever seen it.
Jennings or Bell with Debo down?
Jennings or Bell with Debo down?
Oh,
ooh.
I got to catch up on chat.
I'd probably say Ronnie Bell.
All right.
I'd probably say Ronnie.
Pick up the
Ronnie's looked really good.
offside. Kicked it out of bounds. It was their only chance. Yeah, I'd go Bell as well. Kick it out of bounds. They get the penalty. That should do it. We'll see. Like, got some timeouts left. Got the 2-minute warning. It's possible. Oh yes, they're billing it now. Bears Commanders next week. Oh God.
It sounds like a threat.
It is. It is absolutely a threat. This is like violence against our livers. Like, that's what that is. That is straight up.
Spend time with your family. You're gonna have to watch this.
That is straight up liver assault. Uh-oh. Fourth quarter, David Montgomery unleashed. Oh,
there goes that man. So he's outtouched Gibbs in total.
Oh, it's not even close.
Oh, I know.
It is not even close.
So he's got 26 carries and 2 catches, so 28 touches before that run. Might be 29. Gibbs has 8 carries and 4 catches. So it's like 28 or 29 to 12.
Yep, it was like 16-4 the first week.
Like
just in rushes.
We knew what this was going to be.
Well, we believed that they brought him on to do exactly this. And again, you have to kind of look at the head coach and the character of the team and what they want to do and how they want to do it. And Montgomery was a perfect fit as the lead back to do that. So
And this is nothing against Jahmyr Gibbs. We like Jahmyr
No.
Gibbs a lot as a player,
No.
but you're not giving him 28 carries in a game. It's just not going to happen. That's why they
Ooh.
brought in Montgomery.
All right. So Prime. Oh, okay. So Prime is putting up their watch list, and I'm comparing it to our watch list for the pod that comes out tomorrow. And we were 2 for 2, but then they went Chiefs Jets for the third one.
It's because of
Which-
Taylor.
Well-
She's gonna be at the game.
Of course.
You know, that's gonna be the most watched game of the week. Guarantee it. 100%
Well, I
guarantee
mean-
it.
New Heights went over 1 million. Like,
Already?
oh yeah,
That's crazy.
100%. Like, no, the power of the Swifties not to be trifled with. Like, they are full on legit. Like, was a 400% increase in Travis Kelce jersey sales. The Chiefs sold more tickets in one day than they have all season after Taylor Swift attended a Chiefs game.
He got like 500,000 followers on social media.
Yeah, he got like 400,000 followers on Instagram or something like that. The New Heights episode went over 1 million, like within 2 days. Yeah, no, the power of the Swifties not to be underestimated. Not at all.
Chat asked, why take Gibbs then? If they're going to give Monty this much work. You take Gibbs for the 3rd and 6 that you really need Jahmyr Gibbs. You take Monty for all the 3rd and 3s that you really need Monty. But, like, eventually, even if he's only getting 10 touches in a game or 13 touches in a game like he has now,
But
one of
people
those
get
touches, they're going to be spread out in empty on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7, and he's going to convert a first down in December to determine playoff seeding. Like, that's why they got him, is literally for that.
Yeah, he's going to run a Texas or angle route, to determine playoff seeding. Like, he's going to take a 5-yard reception and turn it into a 25-yard gain, and it's going to be the difference. And people get hurt. Like, Montgomery, like, he is a very physical back. He takes very good care of his body. He always has, even back to college. The stories of, him at Iowa State, like, he was absolute weight room warrior. But it's a physical game, right? You get twisted ankles, you get bent knees, whatever, and it goes down. You got a first-round running back that you like, and yeah, you have to shift the game plan a little bit. You can't run all the same runs, but you can still be explosive out of the run game. And with the running back pass game as an extension of the run game, it's insurance, it's diversity. When they're both healthy, it's diversity, it's injury insurance. It was higher than we would have taken him, but that doesn't mean it's not a good pick or he's not a good football player. In concert, in tandem with Montgomery, it's perfect. It's great.
Also, let's be honest. If you're nailing the Laporta pick and you're nailing the Brian Branch pick and you're nailing the Hutchinson, like, if you're nailing all this other picks, which they've drafted really well.
Yeah, Brad Holmes has done a tremendous job.
Yeah, you could take a swing on a running back in the first round and not give a shit, I guess. If you're nailing everything else.
If it's Bijan especially. By the way, I'm going to see Frank tomorrow. So I believe during this trip, well, no, I assure you that during this trip, we are going to the liquor store and I'm going to pay my debts because he was the one that bet me a bottle, Bijan top 10. And I said, the only way that I will lose this bet is if the Falcons take him.
And then the Falcons took
him. So Frank has Arthur Blank to thank for the free bottle of booze he's about to get. Oh, the center got killed. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. That's a rep nobody's going to care about, nobody's going to look at ever. The center just got absolutely folded. Watch this. Oh, this is sound check from earlier. It's not even the replay. Yeah, nobody's going to care about that play, but whoo-wee.
The Lions have beaten 2 teams by 14 so far. Lions are damn good, man. They really are.
Lions are really good. I want to say 2 things about this. So Jordan Love finally got smacked in the mouth. We have been waiting for a game where he got some adversity in the pocket, where he had to make quick decisions, didn't have the space that he wanted to operate, didn't look completely clean for most of the game, which the other games he has. Didn't look that way in the first half and got whooped. He had a lousy performance in the first half. Came back in the second half, showed real moxie, like great adjustments by LaFleur, but also Jordan Love paid a lot of that off. They came back. This was it's a 2-score game. It's very possible that the Packers could have come out and won this if the Lions had faltered. Great job by Campbell Lions to keep their foot on the gas. Great job by their defensive line to finally get some pressure on the Green Bay quarterback, which hasn't been done yet this year. They just did it. A lot of teams are going to look at how they did it and see if they can, balance it out. Concerned about the Branch injury, but otherwise seems like both teams got out of it without, major setbacks injury-wise. Not near as excited about the next Thursday night game, but this turned out to be a good one in maybe a way we weren't thinking that it would.
Well, BJ from KCSN sent me something to help get me through that Bears game next week. So,
come on, BJ's got to get me on his mailing list.
well, I've been sending him film, so he's like, I owe you bottles.
I know. He knows. Like, much love to BJ and his crew. We love the KCSN guys. We really enjoy hanging out with them. Smart guys, great content. If you're a Chiefs fan and you're not following KCSN, what are you doing? Come on, get with that. But yeah, I got to get on the mailing list for holiday because, oh boy,
it's good shit.
Great stuff.
All right. Well, I have a flight to Portland tomorrow morning to pack for. EJ has a flight to Austin, so we're going to get out of here quite quickly. But we appreciate everybody for spending your Thursday night with us. Remember, next Thursday we will begrudgingly be watching the Bears together. So come by and enjoy that terribleness with us. Tomorrow, I believe, we have our Week 4 preview show going up over on the Bootleg channel. So another podcast coming out tomorrow. I have a film room on CJ Stroud coming out on Saturday. So lots more content to come this week. And then, of course, Tuesday morning, we'll have our Week 4 recap show going up on this channel. So with that, again, thank you, everybody, for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow with more stuff. And until then, later.